Oh. Oh, Mike, am I muted? Yeah, I'm back on. I don't know. I have nothing to say.
All right, everybody. And there it is. A big thank you to Kpro for putting that together. That took many, many hours, as you can imagine, I'm sure. It is Monday night. That means the Kpro Cow Powwow. And of course, we had to get the video out just to try and give an explanation. I know there's been so many questions and why did you say this and why did you say that? So there's our video. And yeah, what do you think, Kpro?
Um, okay, can I tell you my biggest surprise?
Yeah.
I think a lot of people are upset because of our standing in the community that we have an opinion on a solve. If I really ever got really into a solve, like I know that Toby got a lot of flack about New Mexico fishing regulations. I kind of feel that now. Like we have an opinion, but we're not allowed one because we're a certain standing. I guess I always just, even though I might own the bar, I like to come in and just sit down at the bar kind of thing. Like I never saw myself different than everyone else. And I think that's the reason that holy hell is broken loose. Like some really nice searchers have gotten really angry over something like as silly as a title or as silly as a, like you're
And you
not allowed to do that, but everybody else is. You're just not allowed. I don't know. I don't know.
And you know what? It's okay. Everybody is entitled to their opinion. We've said it before. Only thing we ask is don't call names. We won't call you names. Don't call us names. But yeah, everybody can like it or not like it. You know, I think a lot of people don't like it because it doesn't jive with their solution. And
Right.
um,
I've gotten a lot that's like you're now in the conspiracy with Wyoming because it's not in Wyoming. It's in New Mexico, Colorado, like I've gotten a lot of those and it's like I understand, but
it,
we're not like we're one of lots and lots and lots and lots of people have their opinions. So it's just it's our
yeah,
journey.
and it's okay. You don't have to
Yeah.
like it. But we do have a YouTube channel. We do have a forum. We do have a Facebook group, and we're gonna get the information out there that we want to get out there. That's just how it works, guys. Make your own YouTube channel and give your own opinion. Um, So I will say stick around because we're going to go over a couple things that were not in the video because we kind of didn't have time.
God, you know what? Can we not do?
Oh, we're getting into it tonight. I took
We're
three
getting into
clips
it.
from
We're
the
gonna get
Forrest
into
Fenn
it.
interview back in November. Three clips, and I think they point to a latitude longitude solution. But you guys can make your own decision. We will show those tonight. It's a question you asked Forrest, and we are going to analyze his answer. Maybe Mark Conway, just maybe. We'll see if we open the phone lines or not. But that's always a
Oh,
possibility on the Cowlazars channel. I just say make sure you guys subscribe, make sure you guys thumbs up because we, as always, with the Forrest Fenn Treasure Found, we will go live when there is any breaking news regarding the Forrest Fenn treasure. So if the finder does another article, if another solution comes along that we think we have merit, we will talk about it. But I really do think this is the correct one. Um, and you know what?
well,
Real,
and that's the big thing. I
yeah,
think that's all we're saying. We're not saying you have to believe it or you must
yeah,
go. We're just saying here's something that we think. And I can tell you, I think probably the biggest doubter in the beginning was Justin, and he's probably one of the most smart people that I have come encountered with. Um, and he just came around to the idea. So that's all we're saying is, but you couldn't have possibly experienced what we did. I didn't present it well. I'm the first to say everyone's like, this is a PowerPoint. Are we going to have a test? That's the best I could
yes.
do.
Well, what's
Some
all?
people some people wonder why we want to work with a media crew. Do you see what you get when I don't work with the media crew? It's like my I can put stuff into PowerPoint. I'm corporate, that's all I kind of know. I don't know how to use the media things and all of that. So that's the best I can do. But
Yeah.
it was a blast. And worst case, somebody's like, are you going to feel bad if you got taken advantage of? No, we explored it. And have you ever had a failed solve? Yeah, that's it.
We'll be the first ones to come on here if it's incorrect or if
Yeah.
somebody's playing a joke or we got pranked or anything like that. As of right now, I believe it to be true. And the number one reason why I believe it to be true is because Forrest said 9 clues that if followed precisely will lead you to the treasure. And those 9 literal clues in the poem, those
Tax
are
spot.
not tonight, precise.
Yeah.
If you have the right where warm waters halt, where do you go from there? How far? Not far, but too far to walk. How far is that? How many homes of Browns you have to it's just, it's not precise. It's ambiguous. It's subjective. And
Well,
GPS coordinates, latitude, longitude are precise. He's a pilot. They're precise.
but think about how many times he contradicted himself back in the day, and we couldn't figure out the contradictions. I think he was answering one of the two ways to solve it. That's
Exactly.
my opinion. And now it makes sense. Like, dip your toe in it. How is that GPS? Well, no, that's now not GPS.
But
There's so many of those.
I think a lot of people don't do this because they think the 9 literal clues don't matter anymore. They think the GPS was the solve and everything else, Homa Brown, the Blaze, the Canyon, was just all window dressing. And that's not true. I believe, and this is just Cowlazars' opinion, that the poem was double encoded. There is a Where Warm Waters Halt. You can make it Madison Junction. You can make it the Fire Hole. You can make it Lake Isa. They all can fit in this solve. I don't know which one's right. Okay, the finder would have to come out and say which one's right, I guess, because I'm hoping they talked to Forrest and they found out which one is right. But the genius of this treasure hunt, the genius of this poem and solution, the genius of Forrest Fenn is that it's double encoded. He made 9 literal clues, and he made 9 numbers that fit a
Yeah.
exact location, and that's why it took him 15 years to write, and that's why he said an architect wrote that poem. You wanted to talk about architect, Kpro?
Yeah, so I said, okay, there's 3 or 4 things that I said that wasn't exactly right. Some people have already been going up on Thor and saying, liar, liar, liar. Okay, I will be the first to say, so lying means intent. Sometimes you just misspeak. So before you're like, breaking news, this is what I've spent weeks on, and you're a liar. Like, it's not that serious. So somebody said, one of my favorite adoring fans, you said that the Lacy was an architect. He's a civil engineer. Okay, I went and looked at the differences between the two. They're in the same category and class of professions and preparation. They are not the exact same title. So, kind of like a civil engineer and a mechanical engineer, they're a little bit different. So, I will say, and I'm going to say this about 3 or 4 times tonight, as you're going through this, sometimes you misspeak a little. I just started pulling research off the cuff. So here's the one thing that I'll just reiterate. You can do one of two things. We could have waited about 3, 4 weeks and said, we're going to research every single thing we say. Somebody already found a typo in the presentation. And our risk is we get it out as quickly as we can, and we're going to make some mistakes sometimes. They're not intentional. We're not trying to lie and deceive you. There's just not a there. We are trying to get the information out. So if we get the information out and most of the mistakes are mine, like the couple of ladies in the chat, ladies that are saying, Kpro, you're not getting it right. You're just not good enough for Mike. I know. I'm sorry. He kind of likes me. I'm sorry.
They can't.
But outside of that,
They can't have me. But anyway,
I know, but we adore them for saying it's funny because I'm getting the most take because I'm the most opinionated. I have the most fun. I'm the most kind of out there with my opinions. So yes, I said civil engineer was an architect. I apologize. I think this is groundbreaking for the people that spent so many hours focusing on,
all right,
a typo or
we got a question from Brad. Cowlazars, how does the Continental Divide correlate with where warm waters halt? What is warm about the Continental Divide? If the way I understand it, Pacific Ocean is considered warm waters, Atlantic Ocean is considered cold waters. If you, the starting point, I guess you could say, of the Pacific Ocean is the Continental Divide, because all the water, it either goes down to the Atlantic or goes down to the Pacific. A lot of people thought the Gulf of Mexico was where warm waters halt, and they backtrace that up. I don't know if the Gulf of Mexico goes up to the Continental Divide or not. I would think it might, but I'm not going to say because I don't know. And as far as the dip your toe in it, Forrest told Kpro, did you dip your toe in it? Was it warm? I think he was simply trying to tell her it's physical water when you, with your Nez Perce solve, where it was an anagram or it was a acronym,
yeah.
WWWH.
Well,
Forrest,
here was
what's the poem say? It's water. Figure out where the water is. Isa Lake is where warm waters halt, in our opinion. But it could be the Fire Hole. It could be Madison Junction. The most popular where warm waters halt is Madison Junction, and I think that could still fit in this solve. It depends how far you want to go down. How far is not far, but too far to walk. to me, not far but too far to walk is like an oxymoron. If it's not far, how is it too far to walk? Like he did that to get in the numbers, the 2 and 2, not far but too far to walk. Just my opinion. Um,
Um,
Hillbilly Hound says
well,
this location east or west of Continental Divide. This would be east of Continental Divide, correct? Of Lake
I don't
Isa.
know.
I
No, I
believe.
don't see. Okay, so that's the biggest thing. That's what I want to say. So none of the information we got was the actual finder's 9 clues. We just looked at the location. And so, like, several people sent me, did you know Pocket Lake's right there? And look at Cynthia's Pocket Lake. I didn't know. And then, what is the nearest major, really important area? That was Isa Lake. Could that not be it? That's what I want to spend a little time digging into. But that was kind of what we spent a little bit of time and kind of dug into. But that's only our opinion, only and solely our opinion. We started looking into it. That's the only thing. Like somebody said, you're going off of Randy, and he said the brown's bird, the bird is brown. It's gray. You're wrong. I'm like, okay, like I don't
It's
know. It's just not as serious
Treasure Hunt Cash points out Pacific is cold, Atlantic is warm, and includes the Gulf of Mexico. Thank you. I stand corrected. I did not know that, but to me it fits. But the 9 literal clues, we can debate what they are all day, except it doesn't matter because you could also find the treasure using the GPS coordinates. And we're going to show you 3 clips from the interview we did with Forrest Fenn back in November of last year. And I think those answers point to a latitude longitude solution. We're going to show them. We're going to show Christie's question. We're going to show Forrest's answer, and we can debate, and you guys can make your own decision. But I do believe the blaze is on those trees. So let me just make sure I got it clear, Christy, because I was not there. I did not make the trip, unfortunately. I was here at the command center doing what I do. Super chat from 3D Bronze. Typo, unacceptable, unsubscribe. Call the manager. Thank you, 3D Bronze. We make mistakes. We're the first ones to admit it. We're not perfect.
No, not we. I make a ton more than you do, and it's Karenless searchers. I mean,
You know
what's
what?
wrong with you guys?
You know what? I could have miscommunicated to you about there was a story coming out. Was it the next day? Was it next week? That could have been my issue.
Oh, we're gonna talk about that because that's Rock the Nation. And though some of you were like, I'm getting the scoop, Kpro got it wrong. Justin actually asked when we were live, I think at Bullwinkle's, Cowlazars, and that's when we started getting the discovery that there might be something that I remember differently than him. Some of you, yes, I got it wrong, but I'm sorry. Go ahead, Mike.
What I was going to say is that blaze. So you're telling me that these GPS coordinates, these latitude and longitude, once we interpreted them correctly, which was decimal degrees, shout out to Randy and shout out to Lou. Lou's a pilot. Randy hit his own treasure using decimal degrees. I appreciate both of the input.
Wait, before you say that, and thank you to Justin who did it independently because he wasn't on. He was with us, so there was 3 different people that came up with the same thing: a pilot and I don't know, a computer guy, and then I don't know which is like 3 different individuals with 3 different backgrounds came up with it. Slam dunk, boom.
So those GPS coordinates, they lead you to two trees that face each other that both had large areas cut out of the trunk. And in the middle of those 2 trees, that's where you found what we believe the location of the treasure chest was. And we believe that based on the pictures we were sent from an unknown source who believes, who knows, who says he knows. We don't know. He says he knows that's where it was found. I mean, is that coincidence? Now everybody's saying it can't be a tree. How can the blaze be a tree?
Wait, so now Jerry asked, do you, Cynthia, and Justin all agree on the 9 interpretations? No. And I can tell you that I believe Cynthia and Justin, and Justin's in here so he can talk to it and come on if he wants. I believe they believe the blaze is the GPS. I am leaning more towards how can it be a coincidence that those 2 trees had this big notch off of it? Though in 1,000 years, I think those trees would fall. They aren't right now, so that wasn't good enough blaze for me. But that doesn't, and some other things that we know about it that I think it's an actual physical thing. But I could totally see the GPS, and that's why you haven't even figured out the blaze. Well, no, we figured out the exact spot. We found it. We believe that I won't say no, that the treasure was there, and we do have quite a few other things. And somebody said it's unfair to us because you can't share all of it. Right. And so this is where like when Toby and Shelley says something, I listen because they're reasonable people. And I'm not as reasonable, but look at Justin and Cynthia and Mike. They know what we know. And man, it starts to bring things together. That's all I'm saying.
And as far as the argument that the blaze can't be a tree, one, Forrest told us when people asked, "What is a blaze to you?" He said, "A mark on a tree, a white mark on a horse." He gave examples. A mark on a tree was one of them. But this isn't simply a mark. He didn't, use a knife and carve an X. These are huge cutouts of these trees. Correct? I mean, that's what I saw in the picture.
Oh, it was like probably this big, like
And if there was
I would
one,
say 6 inches by 6 inches, or at least like maybe a foot by. I don't know.
and
I
if there
didn't put a radial on it.
Right. And if there was just one, that'd be one thing. But there's two, and they face inward, and directly in the middle of those two trees is where the location was that we believe the treasure chest was.
Right.
It just makes sense. And when Forrest didn't want to answer the location it was facing, it's because there's two of them. How can he answer that without saying there's actually two? To me, it makes sense. There's two. What if one tree goes down, one tree, whatever? He's got a backup. He's got the other one. And then the question about is the blaze, and I believe it's both. I believe the blaze are the GPS coordinates in the poem, latitude, longitude, because the poem says if you've been wise and found the blaze, and also when you're in, even with the GPS coordinates, you said, where is it? I mean, that's a large area with those exact coordinates. He blazed two trees. He put two blazes on two trees to pinpoint where it was. So I like it. And the other thing is when he says about can the blaze be destroyed, and he says, I believe I'm paraphrasing, but I believe it's not impossible, but it's not feasible. What is he talking about? He's talking about in Yellowstone National Park, you don't cut down a tree. You don't cut into a tree because you're going to get arrested. It's not feasible to destroy those two blazes. That's just my opinion. That's what
Yeah,
I
I
believe.
don't agree with
It's not
that, but I
feasible
sure like different thoughts.
tree in Yellowstone National Park. Okay.
Okay, A Whisper says Forrest said, so put at Kpro or at Cowlazars or Super Chat is on. Thumbs up for everybody's thoughts on this. Forrest said we would not stumble upon it. Is your location a spot someone would stumble upon? Absolutely not. In my opinion, absolutely not. Well, I'll say, okay, so this was the first time you guys saw in the video.
Something
I don't
else.
know if
Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
um, I'd never been off trail because I am a flatlander. And actually, that I think was really good because Cynthia and Justin didn't break a sweat. I got a little like, okay, I'm out here, I'm going. And I didn't have walking sticks the first day. Justin had like lots of extras. So I took one the second day. But it really showed me this was a cakewalk. It was a really, really easy, but even off trail, it was easy. So, but it is definitely not a place you would stumble upon. Even if you did, it was concealed, in my opinion, in a way you wouldn't just stumble upon it.
And
Um,
Craig Carter says, if the GPS coordinates were the blaze, why would Forrest say it's not feasible to try to remove? You can't destroy GPS coordinates. And that's why I believe he's talking about the blaze in the tree. I don't know if you want to call the GPS coordinates a blaze, but that is how you could precisely know and walk with confidence and all that. If you've been wise and found the blaze, it's up for debate, but I believe he's talking about the trees. And somebody said, but that's illegal to carve into a tree. Yeah, and Forrest Fenn's a maverick who doesn't stay on the trail. So I think Forrest was going to
well,
make it work no matter what. Isn't that what he
I
said?
think it's interesting. Minotaur says, I like the coordinates, hate that you also have 9 clues that get you there. I will say that is only something we came up with. So if you hate it, that didn't come from the finder. That didn't come from the source. That came from really us thinking that I really thought exact solve, general solve. So if you hate that, that's you're hating like the one that didn't get anything. There's no treasure. I have no frog.
If these latitude longitude, they lead somewhere, just happen to have two trees with big notches cut out of them that face each other, and in the middle was the picture that matches, and like Lake Isa is right there, which is the Continental Divide, and we're
Yeah.
looking for, I mean, coincidence? I don't see how it
Well,
can be.
here's what we were thinking, and we searched it a little bit, but not a lot. There was two that were facing each other. What if 10 years ago there was two others and they were facing in? Because there was a lot of down trees there. So we just didn't go and check. And those trees that had laid there, I don't know how long it takes bark to fall off a tree. There could have been some others nearby that we didn't even know about. So I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
Brings up a good point. He says the scars on those trees look like they were formed by other trees falling into them. In addition, the scarring looks to be 20 years old or more. And why wouldn't Forrest Fenn use those as a blaze if that's what he wanted to do? And I know what you're going to say. Well, because he knew the spot. He knew the spot, in my opinion. When Forrest Fenn says he knew the spot was Yellowstone, somewhere in Yellowstone. He wanted us to experience the thrill of the chase. He wanted us to go to Yellowstone, where he was umbilically attached from his teenage years, from being a fishing guide, from living in West Yellowstone, and every other reason you guys already know. I don't think the specific 10-inch by 10-inch spot is what was special to him. I think it was Yellowstone. And maybe that area, maybe Shoshone Lake, maybe that huge area, but I don't think it had to be that specific spot is what was. I think it was anywhere in that area. He could have saw the two things on the trees and said, that's going to work. You know, he's in the forest. He says he's going to make it work no matter what. So he's got to go, how do I pinpoint this thing? Latitude, longitude is one way, but that would be too easy if all it was latitude, longitude. I want to come up with these other landmark clues. And look, here's a tree with two notches. I'm going to put it in the middle, and it just fits. It just fits. John Fokker,
Okay.
I don't know what's special about it, other than we know Yellowstone National Park is special to Forrest. But as far as the Lacy Trail and that specific area, Shoshone Lake, I don't know. We would know if Forrest was here and could ask him, but he's not. I think everybody assumed when we knew the proper location, we would automatically know why it's special to Forrest. And I don't believe that. It's special to him because something happened there. We're not going to know what it is. Maybe his autobiography in the chest will tell us someday if we get to read it. Hopefully, whoever buys that chest will publish the autobiography. Oh, they can't, can they? The autobiography in the
No,
chest.
they can't. They don't have the copyright.
Mm.
Okay, there's 4 or 5 questions I want to get answered. Divergent mind? No, my kids don't have a YouTube channel. No, they don't. No. Did those blazes look like they were weathered over 10 years? Idea Pirate, I have no idea. There's some upfront pictures and close-up pictures, so you can look at it, and there's someone with a better mind than I. I'm the flatlander of the group. Maybe ask Justin that. That would be
Somebody
interesting.
can email me at cowlazars@gmail.com the exact second in the video we just put up where it shows the blazes. I'll stop it, I'll pause it, and I'll show it, but I don't know where it is in the video, and I don't have time to look for it. Let me
Lisa
know when
Smith
you want.
says, I feel the mark on the right tree is older. Lodgepole pines can live 400 years. Do you think the right tree could have been marked by Osborne Russell? Oh, that's
Could those
getting thick.
blazes be
I don't know.
we don't know. Yeah,
Don't
we can
know.
guess all day, but for people that are like, I hate this solution, you don't have to like it, but what you cannot deny is that those numbers are in the poem. They lead you to a point that is in reasonable distance from the Continental Divide, and the clues fit. Homer Brown, there was a person named Brown that accompanied the Lacy. Is that right, Kpro? When they discovered this area?
I just looked at the little bit was DeLacy was a gold prospector. He broke, and then I started reading his personal journal, and his personal journal said Brown is agitated tonight, and something about Brown and Brown, and it was like, who the heck is Brown? I have not looked into it since then. I've been trying to build this, so yeah.
So Outcast Searcher says, Kpro, what happened to me? Kpro, can you expand on the little girl in India having the poem and a map? Why can't she get closer than the first two clues? In my opinion, Forrest was talking about the 9 literal clues. It's not a little girl from India. In my opinion, anybody just looking at a map could go to the Continental Divide and you could go down the road. But in order to know about the home of Brown, you've got to reach. You've got to look up DeLacy and figure out the person named Brown. You've got to look up, what is it, sandhill cranes? What are these things that are brown? You can't figure that out just from a map. So when Forrest says the from India can't get closer to the first, cannot get closer than the first two clues, I don't think any of us can get closer to the first two clues because the parameters of the question was thrill the chase, the poem, a good map, or Google Earth. It didn't go into research. The little girl from India is not researching anything. And it would take researching, reading up on the area to figure out where the home of Brown was. And that's just my opinion, but that's my opinion. What do you think?
Why was Brown capitalized in the poem? I'm so far back on chat. I need to catch up because we've taken care. Yeah, Copper Dan, I took care of it. I'm so far back in chat because there's so many questions that I'm trying to keep up, but I'm so far back. So let's catch up on chat. I want to answer just questions.
And then we'll
Why
show clips. Go ahead.
why was the B in Brown capitalized? I think it's because it's a person and a last name is capitalized as a rule of grammar.
Makes sense.
Did you see anything that may have been a fake blaze? I don't like fake blazes. Nomadic, we spent a lot of time. We were like, here's a spot. Let's go 1,000 feet back. And we went 1,000 feet back, which was about 400 feet from the trail. And I was like, where Cynthia was actually fixated on it more than either of us. And we couldn't find anything. The only thing I could think of is the finder actually took down the fake blaze or made the fake blaze go away. That's the only thing I could think of. But yeah, we did the same thing. I'm sorry to ask. It was likely covered in the first few minutes. The two pictures of the location were taken at the time it was recovered. Is that what the source indicated? Yes, those two pictures. There was actually more than that, but those two pictures are the ones we really focused on. And there was two parts: the lodgepole pines, and then the um, dead tree at the bottom. We were looking for like the big stack of trees, and it had already started to dissipate. It looked maybe 4 feet tall in the picture, and it was maybe 2 feet tall, because it had already gone 3 or 4 months. I mean, what, the recovery was in June, and then this is where we were at. So yes, that was the one. Not, I won't say the only, and I know I said only, and then I'll have to go back and retract that. There were some things that our source was very, very confident in. And those pictures and that spot was one that those pictures were one of them, meaning pictures. But yeah, those were the ones that they believed it was at the recovery time. And I believe them.
UTC wants to know, would it be an easy walk for an 80-year-old man to make 2 trips in an afternoon?
Yeah. Okay. I see myself as the equivalent of an 80-year-old man. That like a Forrest 80-year-old man, but just an 80-year-old man. I'm back kind of getting out of shape again. I got a little winded coming up the hill, but like Justin and Cynthia, it was nothing but tiny bit. I just got a little water there. It was nothing. I guarantee Forrest could have done that. So let's see. I met him at 87. Maybe he couldn't have done it then, or he would have been winded. But I think he could have done it at 80. But that's just my opinion and a total guess. Okay, non-believers aside, can we please have a believer meet up and camp out next summer? Yeah, Mike wants to go there, and we're going there. I don't know when or how.
To go in August, the month that we believe Forrest hit it. I would like to go in the middle of August to see the green, to see how it looks. And I don't know what year, but I would like to go check it out personally.
Okay, so I'm getting both sides of this. Ken Morgan says, as I've gone alone in there, it's a trail where others have gone. So I don't think so. He also went on a road that others have been. He also, so of course, others have gone up to a certain place. Some people think it's too far off of a trail. Some people think it's not close enough on a trail, and it's vice versa. So I think either way, you're darned if you do, you're darned if you don't. And the cool part for us, we're not trying to convince. We're just trying to say it was about, correct me if I'm wrong, I might get it a little bit off, and God knows that'll be breaking news. Maybe a half mile, 3/4 of a mile on the trail, right at the trail and Dry Creek is where you got off the trail and you went 1,400 feet. And it was about a mile, a little bit less than a mile. So if you back that up, maybe, I don't know, do that calculation in your own head. That, and I can't change it. I can't, so it is what it is. Some people have asked, it's too far off a trail. What do you think? I would have really liked it. Like Cynthia and I talked for a little bit. And my perfect thought of the solve, it would have been a half mile rather than a mile. And some people said Forrest said the half mile. Forrest didn't say the half mile. I always thought, because I'd made it a mile hiking that day, that with my 1 mile hike thing, that it was a half mile out, half mile back. It might have been a mile out and a mile back. That's how much it was. And man, I had no problem whatsoever. So that's just my opinion. But again, it could be wrong. But is after everything had lined up in so many different ways, in my opinion, just everything lined up. Okay, Minotaur says, done fishing, pillow down, send it in, knowing Peggy was waiting for him. Oh, geez, I'm not saying that. Okay, geography more important than knowledge and history of the solve. Kpro. I think geography. I went back to GPS. There's so many things. Exact GPS, minutes and seconds. What he told Cynthia just made me go, "Oh my gosh." So I don't know. As much as we presented is what we have. Besides walking, did you use any other method of transportation from the car to the location? Yes. So we stayed at the Dude. We got in a car, and actually, it was a truck, and it was like the best truck I've ever been in. There was a refrigerator in there. There was a tucker in there. It was awesome. So we took a truck to the campsite. We went off trail. We didn't have to. You could have gone over to the trail, but we decided to go off. We were mavericks. We went a little bit off trail, and then we walked the rest in and we walked the rest out. But I think it would have been unrealistic to go from the Dude to past Old Faithful. I know Forrest did it like on a bike or whatever. We didn't. We took an automobile. I think if that's what you were asking. Um,
Let me know when you're ready to go to the interview.
no, I want to answer more. Let's just catch up and chat. Hold on. I'm
Okay.
only looking at. Okay, easy walk for 80-year-old man would make 2 trips in an afternoon. Yes, in my opinion, it was something easy. Justin can answer if he thinks so too. I think it was, yeah. Um, why doesn't walk follow the rhyming scheme? I have no idea. Let's ask the finder that. Come
Yeah.
on, finder, if that's your name. How tall were the trees in the area? Ooh, really tall. 50 feet? I don't know. They could be 100, they could be 25. I don't know. You guys saw the one picture that Justin did, and it was awesome of straight up. I don't know. They were really, really tall. When the winds hit, you could hear the cracking. Um, I live in Raleigh, North Carolina, and they have really, really tall oaks. And when the winds come, you hear the cracks, and it always makes me freak out. So I don't know. If you don't put out Kpro, I'm just zooming by it, guys.
Oh,
Um,
Tony's got a good point. August 22nd should be Forrest Fenn Day in Yellowstone. Wouldn't it be cool to go on August 22nd to the location?
ah,
Maybe someday.
So Minotaur says, if the source isn't the finder, do you think the finder would be cool with the solve coming out this way? No, I think he or they are shopping it, and they wanted as I think some of it coming out. I don't know. So I'm half and half. If this makes them get more money on their negotiations, I think they'll love it. I think if they don't, that maybe they don't like it as much. But I can tell you we're starting to hit some trending and things that it's getting a lot more press. So maybe there is more. I don't think I think they're ambivalent except for trying to I mean they said they're not a collector, they're trying to cash out, they're trying to sell their story. I don't think they said that part publicly, but I think that's the reason for the Medium article. I think they're trying to get hype to be able to sell their story, and so if this helps them, great. I did not think this much response would happen, so I think they're ambivalent as long as it gives them a little. Have you looked into the old survey map of the area in this area? Forrest Fenn loved all maps. I think he married the map to the. Okay, Jerry Stone. Did you know Lacy is actually the first person that invented the first map, the first person to map this entire area of Yellowstone? Yeah, yeah,
And he had somebody with him with the last name of Brown.
yeah. But he was actually a map. He always said a good map. That's actually one of the reasons. Lacy actually, that was his. That's what he did there. Now, I haven't researched this myself, so I mean, haters get ready. I might say this wrong. I believe Shoshone Lake was actually named for DeLacy, but he didn't document all of the maps appropriately because he was just out as an explorer, so he didn't get credit for all that. Much like Forrest, come on, think about that. And so there was a whole issue there. And so, but he invented the first map in this area, and there's a Montana map of Yellowstone as well. He was the first person. So when they say the right map, and look at benchmark map. Do you see the delineation and the 12? 12, that's how far we were off. 12, do you see?
The
No?
magnetic lines of
No?
declination, I believe it's the proper term, are on the benchmark to map that was at the end of Too Far to. And you're saying the number for the declination line for 12 went right through the.
Yeah, look at it. It's right next to you, Michael.
I know, I see it. Well, actually, the one I had doesn't have because it's not the original. I've got like an updated one, but that's interesting. Somebody look into that. Yeah, Gallatin Ghost has got a very good point as far as the special spot.
Okay.
We may never know why Forrest chose the spot that was so special to him. Whether you believe it was this spot or a different one, it doesn't matter what we think of it. It was special only to him, and he considered it his alone. And I got to agree, we're not going to know unless Forrest communicates that to us somehow, some way. Maybe there was something in the chest to explain it. We'll see.
Uh,
Are we
okay.
ready?
Could a person reasonably just use the words in the poem and find your treasure chest? Nope. Right, because it's not the words. It's you have to interpret the words. So yes, must listen good. I think that fits, but
Don't you need a map? Even if you have latitude, longitude, don't you have to look where that takes you? You need a map to get there, right? I mean, you got to use a map, regardless of why, to get somewhere. I don't know.
okay. Just Justin says I'm overselling. I'm just passionate. Maybe this is why, like, you know how many people are in the chat saying it's wrong because my area is right and they go into their area. Maybe I'm overselling. Okay, maybe if Justin's saying it, maybe. Okay, you need no need to search any place where 79 or 80-year-old man couldn't carry a 42-pound box of gold. Could an 80-year-old man carrying a 42 box? 80 years old, I don't think he ever carried a 42-pound box. He carried it 20, two different trips. In my opinion, okay, so when I went the first time and I put 40 pounds on my back and I went one without adrenaline, I could have made it. I believe me making it. Yes is the answer. 3D bronze, yes. And I know I'm way back, guys, but I don't want to miss anything. I heard the Okay, okay. Some of you guys are being ornery. And can you drive to the first clue? Yes, you can, Dell Hudson. Did you go into the canyon and realize you wouldn't do it twice? We drove in the canyon. I don't know what you mean by you wouldn't do it twice. Google the Lacy Brown whip saw. Okay, Mike, note that because that's what you're going to do later. The Yellowstone could and can blow at any time. Do you believe that Forrest would have endangered the treasure chest by being right there? Somebody else asked that, David I. So if Yellowstone erupts, from what I understand, if Yellowstone erupts, we're going to have more issues than his treasure chest. Like if Yellowstone erupts, isn't that how like the dinosaurs became extinct? Is like a major super volcano?
Anywhere he would have hit it, there can be an earthquake, there can be a tornado. You know, he says, "How deep is a hole?" I can't answer that. I need more information. Any natural disaster could have happened wherever he hit it. The other thing is what is it? The caldera? It's called. When's the last time it erupted? Something tells me I don't think Forrest went. Well, this thing could blow in the next 20 years. It's been hundreds, right? Hundreds of years. It's probably going to be another 100 years.
Well, isn't the last time it erupted? That's when. Well, I don't know. I would be silly even talking to it.
Know that either, but I don't think it's a consideration when you're doing something in Yellowstone to go, this thing could blow up.
Yeah, and Lurker Mike, I hope you are back because your family is doing well. I'm going through my own stuff. And so I thought of you when I saw you back and I thought, oh, I hope all is well. So my fingers are crossed for you. Could Forrest have carried a 20-pound brass box barehanded that distance? I could have, he could have. I think I could actually carry 40. And so I'm trying to be as conservative as possible. Actually, that doesn't put anybody in harm's way. Yes, I do. I think Forrest could have. I think I could have. I would have been happy to carry it out there for him. I do believe this area, yes. DeLacy's map, Indy says, DeLacy's map is a good map that Fenn mentioned. Well, there you go. Kpro, correct. They took the name away. Okay, Justin said. So I believe that Shoshone Lake was named actually DeLacy Lake. He didn't document the proper way and get all the credit and the citations. And you know how much Forrest hates all of that because he was the archaeologist that was like out there doing it and he didn't get the proper recognition. I think that's the story. I do. Okay. Damn, I missed too much. Okay. I believe the GPS coordinates are all there is to solve. Am I wrong? There is no canyon anywhere close. It depends on how you define a canyon, Minotaur. If you're looking for two large, steep, no.
Chasm. Yeah, that's not what it
Yeah,
was.
that's not, but there was a large steep. You can look on Cynthia's video and you can see on one side it was steep, it was downward. And if you look at like the fourth definition of canyon, it does not mean both sides. It has to be in a unpopulated area, etc. So it depends is the answer.
Back East says, Kpro, please explain this one. The clues did not exist when I was a kid, but most of the places the clues refer to did. Those are the literal night. The Continental Divide was there when he was a kid. The home of Brown was still called that when he was a kid. Wasn't Lacy and Brown there, I don't know, 100 years ago or something? I don't understand why people, the clues were
I
there. The
Here's the thing.
there, but the places were there.
Right. And I don't know when all the different areas that we're talking, like when was Dry Creek named? I don't know yet. That's going to be the fun part of the off season, and you guys can do that with us. I don't know. I'm looking at all nine. And so this is the good or bad about going on as quickly as we did. It's like, here it is. I didn't even know who DeLacy was before all of this. And that was literally a week ago, less than a week ago.
And
So we put it out there, and I don't know is the answer to that one. Okay, go ahead.
Indy says Shoshone was originally DeLacy Lake, but they decided to name it Shoshone because of the geographical mishap. DeLacy mistakenly documented the Snake River as the Firehole River. Okay, and we can all, research DeLacy and figure out the history and see if it makes sense. But whether it makes sense or not, the numbers are in the poem. Breaking news, everybody. The numbers are in the poem. So
Ah,
they're there, and all these things fit in that. Can it be a coincidence? I
it
guess.
could be, but I'm at 99.9999999. Okay,
And yeah, me too.
could the Heidi spot have been where Forrest family hid their boat? Okay, I'm going to tell you a little story, but it's going to be very short. I believe that that was right at a certain boundary line between Montana and Wyoming, and I've been there, and it I will tell you this, it was much harder to get to than the treasure chest final location, in my opinion, confirmed or not. So Lisa Marie, no, I don't think so. I don't think it was the same area, because I believe I have been to the other area, and it was a pain in the butt. It was because it had so many trees that were and there wasn't a path. Oh, it was rough. Okay. Do you need gloves and a flashlight? I believe you needed gloves.
Well, why do you think he said take GPS, gloves, and a flashlight in case you get lost? In my opinion, we don't know he was, and he said take a sandwich. How does that relate to the solve? It doesn't. I think he was just giving general safety procedures.
No, there's a picnic area right there. That's where we parked. That's why.
If it's a hint, it's a hint. But taking gloves, water, a sandwich, a flashlight, I think they're just safety. I don't look at that so much as. But he did say take a GPS, so you could try and say that was a hint too, I guess.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Uh, I had one and I just lost it.
Okay, Space Ghost is saying, but Kpro isn't 80 years old. I did it. I can tell you, I think Forrest back at 80 probably was in as good a shape as I was when he told me, if you're walking long distances, you're walking too far. We'll go into the rest of that in a minute. Is there an issue with this solve that concerns you? If so, what is it? Adam, that's a great question. In a perfect world, I would have loved if there was actually a meadow, a forest, a meadow, a forest. It was in the second forest. I would have loved for, I always thought that forests reference to the 500 footer or the 200 footer, it was going to be either 200 or 500 feet off a path. I think it's like 1350 or something feet off of the trail. So I would have loved it to be a little bit closer. I would have also loved to see at the actual spot some water or a lake that you could, or something that you could have fished. That's what I put in my Fenny mind. It needs to be Fenny. It was still really beautiful, but there wasn't, like, I would have loved, like when I said it, Oho, I saw exactly where you could have fished. I saw Mystic Falls in the background. There was a geyser that went off every 3 or 4 minutes. It was like the most picturesque thing in the world. I would have liked a little bit more than that in the variety. It still had trees. It was beautiful. It was desolate. It had a little hill that you could see right outside the trees at the meadow. You could see the mountains. There were, gosh, animal. I talked to the chipmunk for a while. The chipmunk would not answer me if Forrest had been there. There was so many cool things with it. I would have liked it to just have a water feature right there. That would have been cool for me. But he could have gone in that spot and then gone and fished. Justin said that he had gone out there several times. So that's the only thing that bothered me. And I would have never gotten it. Cynthia and I were like at peace because I'm like, I never went down this direction of GPS coordinates. Justin, sorry, I think he'd been in the area and he had considered that type of solution. So I think, yeah, it just, yeah.
Somebody asked, well, why did Forrest say you'll be surprised at the location? What's the surprise about this? I think that it was so close to the trail, like to the road in Yellowstone. It was right there down from Firehole and Madison Junction. It was, to me, it's surprising that it was in such a popular area. That, to me, that's the surprise. If it was out in some remote, Colorado desert, well, that's not what's surprising about that. It's surprising that it was in Yellowstone and probably so many searchers have been within, a couple miles of it or whatever.
Yeah. Gordon Violet Green keeps asking me about Mitch G. Blaze in Nebraska. I'm not ignoring. I don't even know what it means. So I didn't want to call out and go, what the heck are you talking about? It's kind of like this Amber thing. I don't even understand it with one of the other searchers. So do I believe that the Blaze is in Nebraska? No. But other than that, I know you've asked it like 19 times. I don't even understand what that means.
Okay, we're going to the interview, Kpro, and then we'll come back to the chat. Let me do one video. I got 3, but we're gonna do 1, and then we'll come back.
Wait, how long are they?
Like a minute or less.
Okay, I need to go check on Kpro. So why don't you do all of them, and I'll be back.
All of them. Okay. All right. Yeah.
Whatever. And I'm keeping in the chat where I'm at. Moderators, please. Ooh, yeah.
All right, everybody.
You have said give the poem.
This is the interview that we did with Mr. Forrest Fenn in November of last year. November. And yeah, let's analyze. Let's look at his answer.
You have said give the poem to a child. Why?
A child has a fresh mind, and a lot of people overcook the point. I mean, they're looking so far in the future, they're overlooking something that's right in front of them. And I believe that's true. I've said, get out of the box in your thinking. And then 6 months later, I said, get back in the box.
You have said give the.
So sorry about that. So why give the poem to a child? They have a fresh way of looking at things. And then he says, some people are overcooking the poem. Some people are looking so far in the future, they don't see something right in front of them. My opinion, those are the numbers in the poem. He always said, all you need is the poem. Thrill of the Chase has hints. Thrill of the Chase. The minute the second hand hit, we had to get in bed, remember? And if we didn't, my father would give us a paddle. There's the paddle with the ad. Just my opinion, everybody. But he says there's something right in front of us that we're missing. And to me, that's the numbers. And a child, a fresh approach, they might hear those numbers when the poem's read to them. Effort sounds like a 4. 2 and 2 is 2, 2. You guys know the deal. All right, there's that one. Let me give you another one. Let me give you another one. Here we go.
Well, one thing you do on a pretty consistent basis is confirm whether the treasure is still out there. We won't have that confirmation. It seems.
There are some problems that come with this treasure hunt.
Okay.
No, that's not true. There's a way to know, but I'm not going to tell you what it is.
There it is. There's a way to know after he dies. Forrest Fenn just said there's a way to know if the treasure's been found, but he's not going to tell us what it is. In my opinion, it is the latitude, longitude. Because what exactly just happened? Justin, Cynthia, and Kpro, we were given the latitude, longitude. They went and looked, and the treasure chest wasn't there. So when he says there is a way, but I'm not going to tell you, it's solving by the GPS coordinates. Then you can go look. And obviously, when the treasure chest isn't there, somebody found it. That's how you know. That's how, if somebody did that like we did to tell everybody.
Okay. You want to know mine?
No, because let me just finish real quick. The literal clues, there's no way to know you have the proper where warm waters halt. There's no way to know you have the right home of brown. He said, you don't know you're correct until you have the treasure chest. With the latitude, longitude, you know, when you see those blazes on those two trees, you know, this is where it was. Oh, look, it's gone. Now we know it's been found. Go ahead, Kpro.
How do you know? Okay, let me pick this apart and say, how do you know? How would you know that it's 2 versus 0.2 versus leaving the 8s in or not leaving the 8s in? There's no way to know. Here's what I think. I think, and here's breaking news, and this is just my opinion, haters. I believe, like I said, I believe that Forrest left something in his will related to the Denver Museum as the 10th clue, and they have some big stash of money, and that big stash of money is there if the finder wants to put it there, and you could figure it out. That's what I think. And I'm totally probably wrong. I'm like 1% confident of that, but it sounds so stinking cool because I'm going to Denver then. Cody couldn't afford that much money and the security and everything that it would need at Denver. They're big time. Yep. You heard it here first. Total guess. I'm totally wrong. I know it. Okay. I'm like 10 minutes behind in chat. Do you want to keep going?
JC has a question. He says, Kpro, please go over, in your opinion, why waters doesn't go in the numbers, the 8 in waters, and how an ordinary searcher would know that. I'll give my answer, then you give yours if you want.
You give yours first because I want to know what I'm allowed to say and not.
Well, for me, that when you say waters, it doesn't sound like 8. Forrest Fenn had a thing where he says it's straightforward with no subterfuge in sight. Straight sounds like 8. If the word straight was in the poem, we would use the 8 because it sounds like 8, in my opinion. Straightforward, 8 and a 4. No subterfuge in sight. Subterfuge has got sub. There's no subtraction. Just my opinion. We don't use the 8 in waters because it does not sound like 8. Effort sounds like 4. 2 and 2 sound like 2. Listen, you go, listen, 10, list 10, listen. I think it sounds like it enough to use it.
Oh, that's silly. I don't think that at all. I think it's because there's a whole group of searchers that exactly thought that, and they were within the search states in the search region. I think when Forrest put the scrapbook out, within close proximity of someone that had that as their solve, and the answer was Tasuki ate the mushrooms. He's learned a lesson. Don't use them. He didn't say that don't use them.
Know the rules.
He didn't know the rules. That's what he said.
That absolutely means Forrest Fenn gave hints in his scrapbooks, which I never believed until now. I think it proves he's tried to communicate certain things to certain people through the scrapbooks. That's just the way
I think he knew some people were close, and he was just like, just make that small. Could you imagine if you put the 8s in and you were in one area and then all you had to do was take the 8s out and you would have gotten it? Oh, you must be kicking yourself. And I know. Oh, I'm so sorry.
Okay, last one. This is an interesting.
Last one. Oh, I was going to say I have about 150 questions. So
last interview clip. This one's interesting. Might have to watch this a couple times. Check it out.
Oh, I'm starting to lose the chat. Guys, you're going to have to ask again. It only holds for 10 minutes. I'm past that. So go ahead.
All right, here we go.
So what recommendations do you give someone? You've said a famous quote about canasta. If you're, don't be overconfident, make sure you complete the solve before you go out.
Well, my quote is, if you don't know where worm waters halt, go home and play canasta.
So how exactly?
Okay, so you Kpro, and this one I want to talk about real quick. You talk about the quote where warm waters halt. If you don't have that, you might as well stay home and play canasta. So you're talking about warm waters, right? Okay, next question.
How active a location can you get before you actually physically get out there? What recommendation would you? So how exact of a location can you get before you actually physically get out there? What recommendation would you give to searchers?
Ask that question again. I'm listening to each word you say.
So in my opinion, he's still thinking of warm waters. You just asked about warm waters, and then you said, how exact of a location before we go? To me, that's how do we know we're at the right warm waters? But because there's latitude, longitude in the poem, and Forrest doesn't want to answer dishonestly, he says, rephrase it. I'm listening to every word. Check it out.
What recommendation would you give to searchers on how exact of a location should they have solved the poem before they go out boots on the ground?
How exact of a location should they solve the poem before they go boots on the ground?
I don't want to talk about that.
Okay.
And he's not going to answer it. If it would have been hang on. If it would have been where warm waters halt, he would have gave his standard line of read the poem over and over, read the book, look for hints, study maps, you figure it out. But because you said how much of the poem can you solve before a searcher leaves, I'm not going to talk about that. He didn't give the line of what he normally does, because then it turns into latitude, longitude. How precise of a solution or how exact of a solution should we solve before we leave? What do you think, Kpro?
Well, so some people are talking about the first 2 clues with the little girl from India. He confirmed, I believe, and I still need to look this up, that somebody had gotten the first 4 clues correct. 4 clues, right? That's the first GPS. I think they knew where to get off the trail. They didn't know where to go from there. They didn't have the second GPS, and he could never confirm anything more until somebody had the treasure chest. That's my opinion. Oh, I'm losing more. Oh, sorry, guys. I lost a bunch of more
This
chat.
one's so important, I'm going to play it again because I interrupted it. All right, here it is one more time. I'm not going to interrupt this time. Listen how he says, I'm listening to exactly what you say, and you change it from warm waters to solving the poem.
So what recommendations do you give someone? You've said, a famous quote about canasta, if you're, don't be overconfident, make sure you complete the solve before you go out.
Well, my quote is, if you don't know where warm waters halt, go home and play canasta.
So how exact of a location can you get before you actually physically get out there? What recommendation would you give to searchers?
Ask that question again. I'm listening to each word you say.
What recommendation would you give to searchers on how exact of a location should they have solved the poem before they go out boots on the ground?
I don't want to talk about that.
Okay.
And there it is, everybody. Boom. I believe he's thinking of latitude, longitude, and he's not going to go there. He's not going to give us a hint to latitude, longitude. Thumbs up for Forrest Fenn clips. That's all I can tell you. Yeah, it just makes sense to me. Well, go ahead, Kpro. You had questions?
Yeah, I'm going to lose a bunch more. Oh, crap. Mike Nodine asked that again. I thought it was such a good question, and I don't. It only goes back 10 minutes, and I've lost the last 20 minutes of chat. So if you asked a quick question 20 minutes ago and didn't get it answered, I'm trying to stay back right where it's starting to go away. So I will try to answer as many as I can. Rooster says, there isn't a trail in close proximity to where I hid the treasure. Does this sound correct for your site? Yes, it does, in my opinion. Does tip your toe in it in Isa Lake? Jens? No, I don't think so. I didn't tip my toe in it, but I don't think it's warm. But 2 different searchers have sent me hot springs right next to Isa Lake. So I want to look into those before I answer that the whole area is out. I actually think it might be something right on Isa Lake. That's what I say to you, Jens. Kpro, dare you to carry a 20-pound bottle from your car to the spot twice. Dave, so here's when I trained. I took dumbbells from when I trained. I started with 5 foot or 5 pound, 10 pound, 20 pound. I know I could do that easily. Not easily, but I know I could do that. I know I could do 20 pounds. I made sure I could make 1 mile, 40 pounds. So if you're saying, dare you, how much you gonna, I'll do it. I'll do it on video even. What are you going to put up? There you go. Okay. Let's see. If you put Cowlazars, sorry guys, I'm only looking at Kpros. Google the Lacy Brown whip saw. Trust me. Okay, I will after this. I carry 60 pounds all day long. I challenge Kpro to carry 20. Okay, yeah, I challenge you. Okay, you challenged me for what? Like, okay. Thanks, Mike and Kpro. No more confirmation. Go to the questions about how you will confirm after he's gone, please. Okay, I think Mike showed that, so that's good. I'm just trying to catch up. I'm so sorry. Please give your opinion on why waters doesn't go into the numbers. Okay, CJ, I think we answered that. I don't think Mike's going in order. I think he answered the questions that are the soonest, and I'm answering the questions that are the latest. So I think we already answered that. I missed the whole thing. Kpro nailed it. I don't know what I nailed it about, but maybe. Let's see. What scrapbook was that? Nomadic, you got to question again. I'm 20 minutes back in chat. Do you think my 2 cents was a nod to what to do? Here's something that I do think on. I don't know about my 2 cents, Minotaur, but here's what I think. I think there was 2 omegas, which meant this is a crazy idea. It's only my opinion. I think the 2 omegas meant there's 2 different ways to solve this. And once Forrest got the completed general solve, he took the second omega out for once upon a while. How do you like that? Did you tip your toe and eyes a leg? Yes, you're so funny. Let's see. Forrest. Okay, you guys are being funny. Okay, I answered that one. Everybody's asking again because I asked them to. So I'm going back through this. We need to keep up with the chat better, honey.
Minotaur says, can we get off? There was any way to solve this but using the coordinates. Nothing else makes any sense as a real way to solve it. Why? That's how people have tried to solve it for the last 10 years. You don't think you could find a where warm waters halt, a Homer Brown, etc., whatever the 9 clues are, literally? I mean, I'm just wondering, why do you think it would not be able to be solved that way? Just wondering why.
Yeah. Since you're the finder spot, we did consider the lawsuits, and would that bring, but could they bring the lawsuits? I don't know enough about this area, so we're just bringing our story. Can someone bring a lawsuit because they heard from someone that heard from someone that heard from someone, a subpoena? Okay, maybe. No matter how, maybe, I don't know. We're not going to worry about it until it happens. But did we consider the lawsuits? I always consider those things because it's, you still have to get an attorney, and you still have to, you're still going to have to do things. But you can get the attorney's fees at the end and stuff. So I don't know. Would 2 places be carved out? Oh, such as Temple Bear Load. I can't talk about that. Do you think the finders, okay, seem to indicate they frustratingly searched in an area many times before the chest? And I'm going to say this because I said it somewhere else, and I don't know if I'm going to get in trouble or not. So I'm sorry, source, if this wasn't supposed to come out. Mike, this is what I believe. A part of this I know, and then a part of this I'm surmising. I believe when they said they went 25 days and this and that, I think that was last summer. Last summer, they were really frustrated. They couldn't figure out why they were a little off, kind of like us on the first day. And then they found a little adjustment. I think that might be 2 versus 0.2. It could have been a number of things. I think it's the 2 versus 0.2. When that happened, they went right to it. I think this year, the gates opened June 1st. I think they found it, I don't know, second, third, fourth time. I think right when they got there, they got it first day. So when everybody says, oh, they were going around 25, they hadn't figured out all of the nuances. And I think it was the wraparound. I think it was the 0.2. I think it was 2 seconds versus 0.2. I think that's what came in last, and they didn't know it, and they got delayed over COVID season, and they were dying. That's my opinion, only my opinion. And I could be wrong, and I probably am. And I'm probably put a typo in there when I typed it up. Okay.
And then when the park opened on June 1st, they went right to it and found it. It sounds like, I mean, June 6th, Forrest announces it. That means they probably found it a day or 2 before. So, yeah.
Maui Bob asks, is there a possibility of a book in the future? No, I think the biggest likelihood is a Netflix series or something like that. Our documentary is kind of on hold because of this new sets of opportunities. There's lots of interviews that are going to be coming out, or lots of pieces that we have given our story to. I would love, it looks like there is a group that is very close to getting either a series or a pilot out there. That is that's where I would spend my energy rather than a book. I just don't think the book is as high of level of excitement that you could really get. This is a Netflix series, like Mike always says.
As the case turns, this would be a awesome.
I hate that.
I watched Cocaine Island on Netflix. I watched McMillions. Those are documentaries about true events.
Oh, with the lion guy or tiger guy?
Tiger King. Come on.
Tiger King. Come on.
I would watch a series or a movie on Netflix. I'd be glued to it. whether I'm in it or not. You know, who, if it's just about the finder, if it's about whatever, I would watch it in a second. And if anybody tries to subpoena us or we're involved in any kind of lawsuit, my only response will be, "Good day, sir." I said, "Good day, sir,"
Good day.
and that's it. You get nothing from me. That's right.
So cute. So cute.
Well, there it is, everybody. I'm sure there's a million more questions, and we can keep
Wait,
going. I'm not
what?
wrapping up. I just wanted to remind everybody to thumbs up the video. Why, Cowlazars? Why do we thumbs up the video? There's 32 thumbs down right now and 25 thumbs up. I at least think we should outweigh the thumbs down. Some people don't like the solution. Some people just don't like us, and that's okay. Everybody's entitled to their opinion. But what you can't object to and what you can't disagree with is it's good discussion. That's what we're here for. We provide a place for people to discuss the Forrest Fenn solved in our Forrest Fenn Treasure Found.
And somebody was blowing me up on Facebook saying, but you always require us before we could come on your show to do a certain level of give us pictures, give us this, give us that. You don't have pictures. You shouldn't be talking about it on your own show. So it's a little different. When you're at your house, you can do certain things. When you go to someone else's house, you don't have that same luxury. You can do anything you want. Somebody blew up, and I know a lot of people have been sending me stuff. And Indy, I love her. She's making her own way as long as she doesn't agree with us totally. And she is a part of things that we're not a part of in the community. And I'm totally okay with that. As long as you don't hate or anything, you're allowed your opinion. But we're allowed to say, like some people have even asked in this chat, my solve's better. Give me a show. You do have a show. You have that entire capability. It's called Get on YouTube, Make Your Own Channel. We are doing that right now for ourselves. So we might not hold ourselves to the same standard. We hope to. We think it's that much. By all of your responses, probably not, but we're allowed to be wrong. Toby and Shelley, they said New Mexico fishing regulations, they weren't right. And they're okay with that. We're okay being wrong. We are not lying, though. We're not doing this for people who are like, for the money.
I believe in the solution. That's
God
what
bless you.
it. We got all kinds of solutions where we looked at it and we just kind of said, you know, it didn't look right. You know, we kind of said something like,
you have a brain like a chicken.
I'm sorry, but that's what I think when I see some of the solutions. We did just messing around. We did get a super chat from Wrong Way Corrigan. She was up in Yellowstone for the finale. Love this community. Gears are always turning. Carrie, thank you very much.
Oh, yeah.
And how close is the fishing bridge where the finale was to this location?
Within a few miles.
Just that close. I mean, so just think, everybody that was on that bridge. I mean, it's only an hour from West Yellowstone, the city. So we were all within an hour when the function in the
No, it's like within 15 minutes, like 10 minutes. Yeah, it was close.
And that's why I think Forrest Fenn said, you'll be surprised. You'll be surprised how close it is. Everybody's, out at the Medicine Wheel or Cody or Matitsi or Thermopolis and all these kind of more remote areas. Umbilically attached Yellowstone from when he was a kid. He's umbilically attached to the entire park. And there's a quote on one of the 6 questions with Jenny Kyle on Mysterious Writings. Somebody said, can you see the treasure chest on Google Earth? And he says, no, you cannot see the treasure chest because it does not go down far enough. But he also says, I zoom in on the treasure location from time to time, but I'm not looking for the treasure chest. What does that mean? Why would he zoom in? Because it's Yellowstone. He loves Yellowstone. He's
I can tell you, he had a shortcut of Yellowstone, all the webcams, everything in Yellowstone. Yeah. Okay. Wait, I've got to catch up in the chat, sir. Good day, sir. Hold on. What piece of information or thing Forrest said do you think most contradicts the solve? Anything at all? I'm going to be really controversial with my answer, Marty Bird. I believe there was a time that he told 2 searchers they were within a couple hundred feet. One of them was Stephanie, and I think she searched so many places. I can't put a lot of credence in because there were so many different places. The other one was Dale. I don't talk a lot with, I've probably emailed with Dale 5 or 10 times in this entire search, and I have talked to him once on the phone, probably 2 years ago. I can tell you, I think he was told that, and I don't think he searched anywhere near here. That bothers me. I think Forrest and him were close enough. That is one that I go, why? So that's you asked me, is there one thing that contradicts the solve? Everything else, I didn't think of it. I didn't think of these GPS double encoded. People have said double encoded and all that. Dale, I think Forrest liked him, was friends with him, enjoyed him. I don't think Forrest would have pulled one over on him. There was no reason to. Other people, there might have been reasons to. He was so close with Forrest. I don't think Forrest would lead him astray. And I feel like there's no other explanation than that. And that doesn't fit with me. So that contradicts. Okay, there's
And
my conspiracy theory.
there's a million questions that will never be answered, and they will never be answered because Forrest is not here to answer them. We don't know what conversation he had with the finder. I hope if they found it from the lat long, that's great. I hope they come out with that. I also hope they asked Forrest what were the 9 literal clues. Where did Warm Waters halt? What was the home of Brown? And I hope that comes out someday. I don't know if the finder is ever going to release that information. Maybe
They
because
should.
they've already released it, maybe now they can. I don't know. But then, of course, people are like, what about the legal issue? If that chest was in the park, now there's a legal issue because
Yep.
it was not turned in. And I say it was not turned in because I think people have filed FOIA requests to find
Right.
out if it was turned in. So, that's
Oh,
between.
I think the finder hasn't been sloppy in some of the things they said. And I think between Yellowstone, the dates there in Yellowstone, I think there's going to be enough records. Let me ask you this, Mike. If we were given the finder's information, identity, tomorrow,
Okay.
would you put it out? Just the name. And we confirm in some way.
I would not. I would not put out.
I would not either.
Yeah, it's their right to remain anonymous. If somehow.
Right. But I can tell you, there are some people hot on their trail. I believe by the end of the year, their identity is going to be out either way. And I can tell you, I don't want to release it if they're not good for it or not up for it or not good with it. I think they have messed up. But I'm not even going to get into that because I don't want to make some of the people not as smart figure it out and then they do not nice things. Okay, what hints in the book, Alan Kay says, when you read it slowly, helped you with solving the clues in the poem? The one I can look at is definitely the paddle, the dad paddling. I don't know if you already answered this one.
Yeah, well, in the book, the second the minute hand hit 8 o'clock, and he puts it 08 o'clock. Most people just put 8 o'clock, not 08:00. In some places, it's the time is 4-digit with a colon. In other places, it's 2-digit with o'clock. It's just references to time, in my opinion, which is what latitude are, minutes and degrees. It's just a hint, a subtle hint to look at minutes and degrees and seconds, minutes and seconds. The second the minute hand hit 8 o'clock, they had to go to bed. And if they didn't, he would get the paddle. Their father would get the paddle. And I can look up the exact
paddle. My God, right there.
And the other thing is, Peg, he says his mom was always smart. She something about long-sightedness. The word is long-sightedness. My mother always had long-sightedness, and that's why she was so smart. Longitude, I don't know.
Here's the other thing. Yeah. I think, and I haven't had time to do it, but I think there is an intentional hint in the dust jacket where Forrest said anything in my book is unintentional sprinkled throughout. I think there's an unintentional hint or an intentional hint probably in the dust jacket. I just need some time to look at it and really focus on it.
Well, what I want to do is go back to Too Far to Walk. When he says there's an unintended clue in Too Far to Walk, and everybody said, well, it's the map and the map's cut off. A lot of people thought there was another clue in Too Far to Walk. Yeah. I would have to reread the book now with latitude, longitude in mind and just see, does anything stand out?
Well, I want to go back through the entire interview, other interviews. I want to go back to several, like the Lorraine Mills, many of them. Randy Pitchell, will you see this question before it times out? See, I'm only 11 minutes in. It's getting ready to go boop and disappear. So yes, I saw it. Well, Sparky, hi Sparky. Did Forrest Fenn say it was found in Wyoming? Yes. Now here is what somebody said, and I think I don't agree with it. I'm not going to make fun of them, but I don't agree with it. When Forrest put out the press release or the scrapbook, whatever it was, about the finder and I have agreed to say it's in Wyoming. Some people say, oh, that means it's because it's in New Mexico or Colorado and that's where I was. No, I don't believe that. I believe all he was saying is we are in agreement. I just Occam's razor. I just whatever. Do you think that?
Good.
Huh?
No, go ahead. I'll give another hint and what I consider a hint in the thrill of the chase. But go ahead. I'll do it after this.
Do you think the double omega could have represented the notches in the two trees? I had not thought of that.
Say that again.
M3, honestly, do you think the double omega could have represented the notch in the two trees? The two trees right next to the.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, we don't know. But then there was one, and once upon a while, yeah, we don't know. It's a good.
Yeah.
So the hint, I believe, another hint in the thrill of the chase is a lot of people had astronomy solves. A lot of people thought stars had something to do with the solution. He says in Thrill of the Chase, he was watching Dancing with the Stars. The cover of Once Upon a While has all the stars with the fishing, and it goes to a star. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't latitude, longitude based off the North Star? Like way back in the day with sextants and how they figured out degrees and all this stuff was based off the North Star. So I think the stars references were hints to latitude, longitude, because, and remember Frosty, he didn't know his polarity. Polarity, magnetic lines, north, south pole.
Okay, I want to tell a funny story.
I mean, it's all there, people.
I wanted to tell a funny story. When we came back, we went out to dinner, and Justin was actually on with you, and Cynthia and I were so hungry, we took off. We started eating, and I think I was just coming off the day. I was exhausted. Justin brought up his phone, and he was like, the blaze, the radio. Oh my gosh. And he started doing what you're doing right now, like quotes that he could remember. And he was like, you're so clever for it. Like it was one of the, and it was just fun because Cynthia and I just kind of sat back and watched his mind start to work it out. Like, how could this be possible? And he brought up a ton of the different, and that's what I did today. I went through Jenny's pages of key quotes, and I was like, oh my gosh. And that's where some of those came from. A bunch of them came from searchers. It was one of those you just go, oh, okay. How
that I made way back in 2017 is I thought there were hints to latitude, longitude in the Thrill of the Chase. I made a vlog about it. You can go back and watch it. The problem is I thought the latitude, longitude was in the Thrill of the Chase. Olga's bathtub was 36 inches long, longitude, 36, whether it's latitude or longitude, puts you in New Mexico. And the fishing regulations, I was wrong. I knew there were hints, in my opinion, back then in 2017. I thought there were hints to latitude, longitude. And what makes the most sense to hide it, to find 10 inches by 10 inches in the Rocky Mountains is longitude, latitude. But I never thought to look for them in the poem.
Yeah.
And I look back on it now, and all I think is,
I didn't know they made ninth place ribbons.
they don't. There are no ninth place ribbons, everybody.
A lot of people ask, why are you even out there? There's no treasure chest. If you've been involved in this, like Cynthia said, I was in it for the treasure, but now I'm just in it for the answer. I was in it for the treasure. And now I just want the closure piece. I want to know that, one, I believe that there is a finder. I will tell you, I was not as vocal about it. I was about 95% there was not a finder. I now believe there is. I believe there is a solution that I feel pretty good about. I mean, when Forrest said it was exact and it was this, it was clever, you're going to shake your head. It's a kid, it's a this, it's a that. I believe that there is one, and it helped me get closure. I'm starting to lose the chat again. Can you imagine the frustration of knowing it was right? Oh, sorry. I'm going to actually go probably, I'm now at wrong way Corrigan. Thank you for the super chat. That's how far I'm behind. And I lost a bunch of the chat again, guys. So I'm going to go with questions here. I have a seat right now. I know where you are. Stay away from those slot machines. They were calling my name too. Don't do it. I can tell you the entire time I've been there, I never heard anybody go Yahoo in Bullwinkles for those slot machines.
Mike, why don't you make some ninth place coins? I'd buy a bunch of them. That's pretty funny, Mike.
Okay, so thank you. Bella2 says it's all a part. It's sharing. That's what makes us all come together. Yeah, right or wrong. This is the first time. So I had a Nesper solve, I had an Ojo Caliente solve. I was at Lake Heron, but I was with someone else. I never was really, really vocal. I wasn't like the rooster that said, I believe this. I have not ever gotten so much negative feedback. Like, not negative feedback like, I don't really believe this. Like, you're done. I mean, look at our look at our comments right now. Like, I expected more out of you. You're an idiot. Like, I didn't know that going against. Ooh, okay. Ooh. You guys want to see? We have a little kitty, little tiny kitty.
Marty Bird gets the comment of the night. Marty Bird. Oh, don't tell me I lost it. Marty Bird says, latitude, longitude is all about hemispheres. What broke open the chase? Hemispheres.
Ah!
It's a breaking news just because it's fun. Hemispheres magazine is the article that blew it open. And yeah, that's pretty good.
And I can talk. I want to talk to this. Susie says the rumor was banned. You were banned from Forrest's house. I'm not going to talk too much about this because this goes into the drama of I'm a better friend than Forrest to you than, and I blah blah blah. Here's what happened when we went for the documentary in November. Forrest was really concerned about um, the flu at the time. COVID hadn't even hit. He asked if our documentarian had small kids. And the answer was yes. Then he asked, how old are Mike's kids?
I do, yeah.
And I said 6 and 9. He goes, I know Cynthia doesn't have kids. How old are your kids? Again, like he was like, I know, I know kinda. And I said 11 or I think 10 and 12. And he went, he goes, 3 of you with all having small kids. He's like, you don't want to have this at my house, do you? Do you want to do it at Douglas Preston's place? And I said, his place? And he said, have you seen his office? His office has a bunch of items I gave him. I'll tell you the stories. And remember when we were there, he told the stories for a while. So others say I was banned from his house and I this and that. Hey, guess what? I got to see Forrest within a month of him passing. And I can tell you when he grabbed I tried to stay 6 feet. That man knew he was going. He held my hand and he held it tight. And he said some things to me that I'm not sharing. Anyone that wants to disparage him and my friendship, I've had somebody very close to the family reach out and said a few really nice things, and I just feel really good about it. So if somebody wants to say now I wasn't good enough friends or somebody else was better friends, I don't care. So if someone says the rumor is that, he didn't let you in his house, I'd been there 50 times before and I'd been there before he died. And that gives me he wanted to give my kids some presents. I'm not going to validate my friendship with him. I know. And it doesn't even matter anymore. If that's what you're hanging on to is someone who's passed, if your friendship was stronger, he was friends with everybody. He liked people. So just if that's what gets people through if that's all they can hang on to is that hatred, they need to get a life. Okay.
Here, you were never banned from his house. Is that correct?
No, I was asked not to come. I won't say not to come because I said, can we come? Could I just come the next day? My kids are a little older. And he said, he was so protective of Peggy. He said, this is what he said. He goes, you do realize if she gets the common cold, she could pass. And I said that I'm passing on this. If I can spend the day with you, that's going to be enough. And he said, you are going to give me a hard time, right? And I said, you know it. Do you want me to bring your Corona or do you want a margarita? And he just, he said, oh, you're going to get me in trouble. I said, what does Douglas drink? Let's bring, we had some real fun. And
what's funny is if Forrest had an issue with Kpro or me, why did he do the interview?
Well, that was like the time. Do you remember?
I changed my mind. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, do you remember a couple of years ago when someone released the secret audios and I was yelling at him? And I do remember Lurker Mike. Yeah, I was yelling at him. And it was because I said, I've been to his house 20 times since then. Come on. So I don't even want to go back into this is drama alone. It was funny because I talked to the TV producers and I said the one thing that I kind of want to put on the game is not to invent drama. We have enough of it. Just in our solutions, we have enough. Look at this little kitty. Isn't she cool? Anyway. Okay. Okay. Some people are appreciating us for, okay. York says, what about a fake blaze? Yeah, we couldn't find the fake blaze. We couldn't find it. We tried.
Feet away, so I have no idea what the fake was.
Well, the coming off of the trail to Dry Creek and then the spot, That was 1,400 feet. So we tried to jog back to about the 400 foot mark. We couldn't find anything. And then we went to the trail. We couldn't make it work.
So a lot of people ask, what's the drawing nigh? The end is ever drawing nigh. What did that mean to you?
The draw of the trail right at the longitude, which comes first? Longitude. You can see I wasn't.
I don't know.
Longitude, exactly at that perpendicular spot was draw. We always looked at nigh. You should have looked at draw. What's a draw? I didn't know. I mean, I knew draw. A draw is a dip. I don't know. Go look it up. We looked it up at the time because Cynthia's like, it's the draw. I actually have a video. She's like, I figured one out. I said, what? She goes, the draw. That's right at one of the GPS locations.
Coincidence, everybody? Are we making it? You make the call. You just
okay. 3D bronze. Why would F say if you don't know where WWWH is, stay at home? If you have a GPS coordinate, why would you need that? Because that's where you start. If you don't know to start at WWWH, that first stanza goes to the end because you do the wraparound. You're staying home. Some people had figured out this homophones and all that. You have nothing if you don't know WWWH. That's where you start. 3D bronze, it's a great question. Will you keep asking, or are you still going to provide more pictures and videos of the spot? Johnny Walker, I have to take Mike there because Forrest and I talked about if Mike ever got married and the spot is out, would he be okay with us getting married there? And we had a whole discussion on that. And so Mike has to go there at least. I'm not saying we're getting married there. I'm just saying.
Definitely making the trip. I would like to do it on Forrest's birthday next year. That would be apropos in my opinion, but we'll see. Definitely like to do it in the summertime, not the fall, not the spring. I like to do it in the summer.
So Godelkin says, just like Toby, Kpro's dad. Let me be clear. Toby is my search dad. I think that was a little jab to me and my sensitivities right now. Maybe not, but I like that idea too. I don't know which idea it is. I am right now. Oh man, I'm over 10 minutes behind. I always think about the comment FF made. There's more to the story, and I'm not going to tell you, but I'm saving that for the finder. See, I don't think we know the story. I think there's something big in that area. And I don't know if it's ever going to come out because Nelica, she said this in chat. She said, Forrest family, I know this. Forrest family owns the rights to the biography that's in the treasure chest, the autobiography.
It's in the
That's in the olive jar that was in the treasure chest. The finder has the story, but does not have the right to resell it in book form. That is why I think they're shopping TV deals.
And somebody earlier asked, well, what was the one thing that the finder would be surprised of that Forrest never talked about? The stick? Well, we don't know. Just because you saw the contents of the chest on the table, it doesn't mean you saw all the contents.
Well, here's
something that the finder never showed, is never talked about.
Here's something crazy. Tell me what you would have thought. So Justin started looking for the stick at the spot. And I'm like, that went with the treasure chest. He goes, no, I just think they picked up a stick and we looked for it for a while. I had never thought that. That's why I love different trains of thought.
For thousands of dollars on eBay, a stick.
Yeah. Why don't you think Forrest gave the finder his copyrighted autobiography when he gifted him the chest? I think that Forrest wanted to leave his legacy with his family. My guess is he gave that to Shiloh, and that's something that continues on with whatever that legacy is. I think that's the legacy that's big, like Sitting Bull Peace Pipe. I don't think it's DB Cooper, but like something big. There's something big there.
In the video, did you talk about the crack, the two sticks with the crack? Was that in there? Because I was getting you this ready. Didn't watch all of it in your video. The stick with the crack in it, the picture that we were sent with what you guys found when you compare them, the crack and the log. Okay, I guess I'll look the picture up. You guys can make your own decision.
I got nothing. No.
Okay.
Lisa says, can you make a correlation between the hottie spot and the X the Forrest put on page 99? Nope. and Cynthia and I had some discussion on that. Neither of us could. I'm actually interested to find out if there are more layers ways to get to the same spot. Bella Tui, yes. Some people have said they crack to the same location in different ways. I'm really interested in digging into that as well. I've had this theory for a while, but I can't quite tie it all together. I hope the finder worked it out and didn't force the find. I thought when I read the finder story about 25 days, I'm like, they brute forced it. After hearing a few things, I don't think so. I think they went to the exact location. They weren't factually incorrect with what they said. I think they did some play on and let people make some such assumptions.
So
God,
go ahead, and I'll show the crack in a minute.
go ahead, show the crack.
This-
Is this a butt crack like Minotaur Marino had? Is this a
Oh, a
butt
little
crack?
jab at Minotaur.
It's because he's so good. He's gonna try to beat me to AGK.
All in good fun, Minotaur. Okay, so shout out to Chasing Indy because I think she's the one who blew this picture up.
Oh, this one. No, I know what you're talking about. Wonk, wonk. Hit the wonk, wonk, wonk button. No.
Listen, in the picture we were provided, which is I believe
Christ.
the
I'm
picture
going to mute myself so I can curse.
Chasing Indy noticed there was this weird crack, indentation, whatever you want to call it. This is a picture from the actual spot that Kpro, Cynthia, and Justin found. And look at this. I mean, it kind of matches, although it's upside down like the log was.
Oh, there's a line and a line. Wow.
Like an anchor to me. Look at that. And then if you flip it over, there's the anchor right there. I mean, it's a distinctive shape. Oh, and now again, that doesn't prove Forrest Fenn's treasure was there. It just proves you guys found the location that was sent to us, right? But it's just a 1 in a million to find the location. But that's the point of latitude, longitude in the poem. You can walk precisely to Forrest Fenn's treasure using the latitude, longitude in the poem. So this is on Facebook. This is in Cowlazars and Kpro's Grand Adventure. And yeah, it's just that she know. I don't know who noticed it.
Hit the wonk, wonk, wonk button. Whatever.
You don't
No, I don't like. I don't like it. I don't see it. I think it needs to be something so super concrete. I have to tell you, Justin and I and Cynthia, like he was trying to get one of the little twigs because one of them was pretty distinctive. It looks like a wishbone. We were just hoping something would come together, and I just don't think it's there. And here's the thing for me, I'm not going to overstate. If it was there, and there was also in the one log, there was a little knot. We looked everywhere for that damn knot, everywhere for that damn knot, and we didn't find it. Not saying it wasn't in the area, it just didn't present itself to us. Okay, what do you think was the one thing that no one considered? Okay, Mike and I disagree on this. I think it's the 0.22. That's why our source that's why we didn't go straight to it first day. I think that's what they discovered from last summer to now. Or to June, they went and they got it. That's the one thing that no one considered the wraparound and the convergence from degree, minute to whatever. I don't know, the two different types of GPS.
Well, the comment from Forrest that a deep thinking treasure searcher using logic could determine an important possibility to the treasured location. That's latitude and longitude in the poem, people. And again, it's just logical that to find a 10-inch by 10-inch box, and when the finder or the creator of the treasure hunt says, follow these 9 clues precisely and it will lead you right to it, that's latitude and longitude, everybody. It's just the finder figured out how to read the numbers correctly and got there first. So congratulations to them.
Minotaur, you did river bathing is best, and so have I, and it's awesome. Okay.
Oh, wait a minute. Donna Watchtool says in the third video interview, did you catch Forrest say in my coordinates? Then he caught himself and said, you know where warm waters halt. The third video we showed today? No, I did not catch that at all. Said, you know where warm waters halt. What? I didn't see that. Somebody send that when you replay this. So I'm not sure where that is.
Let's see. Oh gosh.
I take it back. The picture that had the crack was from the finder. It was the treasure chest, and there was a log next to the treasure chest, and there was that crack. And Chasing Indy was able to match it up from a picture of where you guys were at. That which is breaking news, everybody. I forgot that the original shape or indentation, whatever you want to call it, carving, maybe somebody carved that. In the finder picture, is actually where you guys were at. To me, that's also proof.
And you know what? Indy's going to go live tomorrow and talk about this.
Yeah.
And I'm going to see if I go from non-believer to believer. Okay. Hal has said, does the parking lot at Lacy Creek form an island? Yes, it does. And if so, are you putting in below the island? You're putting it. Would this make a good Homer Brown? I think it's a good Homer Brown either way, because that's where you're at in the poem. But parking lot, maybe. Okay. Okay, Marty's saying now with my incredibly awesome PowerPoint, he didn't say that, that he's considering this. The markings in the log. Maybe I need to look at it more close up, Indy. I didn't see what you were saying. Mike does though.
You totally spaced it. It was actually you know what? I'm going to look at it right now. Go ahead, Kpro. Let me find the picture.
With F and Peggy now passing any word on a family auction. I have no direct information. Let me see it. Hold on. I have no direct information. Was I too loud? But I do want to say, I believe when somebody litigates against a estate, that everything gets locked down in the estate. And I believe the one Anderson Chicago lawsuit has already stated that that is her intention. Once Zoe gets, Zoe has now been named as the executor. So her dad dies, her mom dies within 3 weeks, and she is now going to have a lawsuit litigated against her because she's the executor. Oh, but she loves Forrest. She loves Forrest. She's good people. So I believe that there will not be an auction until, and those probate court has been known. I don't know this. I have not been in probate court, but that usually goes on for years from what I understand. So I don't know what that means, if it's just particular pieces and things. That's why I think Forrest was trying to, I think he saw a few people coming, and especially certain individuals. And I think he was trying to liquidate as much as he could as quickly as possible. So I don't know. I think some people, some things were already liquidated, meaning in his estate in general, because he was a collector. He had huge collections. American Doll was one of them, a few of the others. Yeah.
So check it out. This, and I totally forgot on this. That's why it's such an important point. This is the picture from the finder in the Medium article. It's a picture of the treasure chest, right? If you zoom in, this log right here on the left has got two kind of distinct shapes. Well, I don't know what these are. I'm assuming they're cracks, right? One goes here, and there's one right here. On a log at your location, Kpro, where you, Cynthia, and Justin were at, it looks like the log is still there. They didn't take the log; they just took the treasure chest, and it's got the same type of crack. Now, let me find the picture that you guys took, and we will see how they match up. What Chasing Indy did, Chasing Indy on YouTube, she actually blew up the pictures and then made it black and white to compare.
Right. So someone like that did the Photoshop evidence.
Yeah.
I think he needs to jump into this because he has you can pixelate and triangulate and superlate and
I know
lots of other aids.
Doctor a picture. I do know that much. You guys.
Oh, you know what? Some people said we doctored this entire thing the last week because they're cray cray. You guys are cray cray. Okay. Was the area peaceful, Jeff? It was. It was. Oh no, you didn't. I don't know what I did. Probably said butt crack. That would be my answer. I don't know.
Okay, check it out. This is the picture from when you guys were there. So we've got the picture here from the finder, right? Two little weird cracks in the log. Picture that you guys took from the location. Boom. Look at that.
Oh, whatever.
Right
I don't know. Maybe.
Now, were you saying about a knot? You weren't talking about this, were you? I don't know why.
No.
This, and maybe that other one is up here further. Maybe that's part of it. But look at this. Look at this, which is a picture from where you took. See how the landscape is different because it's 3 months later, getting fall. Look at that. I mean, there's that. Okay, check that out. And then the picture from the finder.
No, I've spent too many hours of my life.
Look at it. Drink it in, Kpro. But again, it's subjective. Yes, it's subjective.
Drink it in, Kpro. Wow. Okay.
I think
Okay. Before you all walked in the area, you should have approached it like a crime scene. Okay. I need to give some additional props. I swear he's not perfect. Yeah, even though I thought he was fantastic. Justin actually said before I started, I was like, let's look underneath and let's see if there's some out. And he's like, wait. And we took some pictures and we let Cynthia come in. He's like, touch nothing until Cynthia gets here. I'm like, but you guys saw me. I was like totally geeking out. I'm like, but. And he's like, no. He was so, it was funny because he goes, I think we showed it in the video. He was like, this just gives us a little bit more confirmation. And I was like, I was so go crazy. So I will give credit. Justin, like, he was like, wait, let's and then he started getting into the little nuances and the cracks in the logs and all of that, and it was super fun. Anyway,
nice, Missouri Dave. But yeah, that crack to me is pretty huge. That the finder, there's something in the picture. You guys were at the what we believe is the spot. You find something that matches. Subjective, I know. Yep. You guys make up your own decision.
Okay, Mock Smith says
that a pilot would use. Go ahead, Kpro.
I also wonder about the comment. People will be surprised when they find out where it is. They will ask, why didn't I think of that? Do you think he was referring to GPS coordinates? No, I think he was referring to how the GPS coordinates happened. I think homophone, it's literally, I looked it up, 2nd grade Common Core. Drink that in.
Word that sounds like a number, that type thing.
Yeah, like the technique to solve this, show it to a kid. They learn it in the 2nd grade Common Core. Is the real finder ever going to be contacted, or is this a never-ending cold roast? Gordon, I think we need to assume it is a never-ending cold roast. I've never heard that term. Is that like a Southern thing or a Canadian thing or a Iceland thing? I don't know. I think we need to assume it's a never-ending cold roast. But if the finder comes out, that would be fabulous. The grains of the log go into another direction. Mike thinks that, but you have to flip the one upside down. That's what he thinks. Right, Mike? Michael. The grains of those 2 logs that you love so much.
But how do you know that the finder didn't flip it over? Like, how do you know they didn't have to
move? If the grains go this way and the grains go this way, they're not the same if the notches are going way. Yeah, drink that in.
Let's take a look.
Yeah. Okay, I don't even want to look. I don't know. I'm some of you. Woo. Gadelkin, Forrest, you said Forrest already marked which items are going to who. I do agree with you in most cases. There's some cases that wasn't the case, but I believe when there is a litigation against an estate, from what I understand, there is concern if you liquidate something that then later could be in question, you are not allowed to liquidate during a active litigation in probate court. That's how I understand it. Maybe if something isn't in question, like maybe his house or maybe Sitting Bull's peace pipe, because that was never in the chest, maybe that's an exclusion. I think the lawyers are going to have to get involved. The lawyers will be the one that wins when it comes to this case.
Back to the picture again. That's all.
I'm not no. So Indy's asking me why I'm against the logs, because that's supporting the solution. I don't think overall she does, but I think she's trying. Right now, I spent probably about a half an hour going log to log to log. I would love someone else to take this. The one thing that Cynthia said, there's a lot of negative in the community, but there's a lot of you that are working with us and doing a lot of investigation for us. Like, did you know about Pocket Lake? I didn't know about Pocket Lake. Did you know to Lacy about the maps? I didn't know about that. Did you know that Shoshone Lake used to be named to Lake? I actually found that, but people have been sending me stuff. This is the one benefit. So I love it. I just don't want to spend I watched your video and I just can't spend once
So-
there's something definitive. Let's let Mike do that part.
So I don't know how anybody can tell the grain from this picture, but what I see it as, the picture of the treasure chest is from one point of view. Somebody is on the other side of the log. Whoever took this picture, whether it's you or Justin or Cynthia, whoever took this picture is up here. They're on the other side from the different direction. You're looking at it from this way, or you're turning around and looking at it from this way. Now, again, there's two weird cracks in this log right here, right? There's this
Well,
and there's this. Is this
here,
this or is it that? I can't really tell by looking at this. But what Chasing Indy had up, let me find that.
well, here's the one cool part. Here's the one cool part. I just put out in the video that just premiered tons and tons of video, tons and tons of pictures. What now they are pictures of pictures. I had problems getting stuff converted over. If you need a higher res, send me an email at kpro3@aol.com or Cowlazars, and we'll get you a higher res. So if you want to start doing the comparisons, because yeah.
Perspective. I get it. You don't believe it. Hey, don't believe it. I'm not trying to convince anybody. I'm just saying the numbers in the poem speak for themselves, in my opinion. That's why a lot of people are like, but it matters. Did the source say it was coming out tomorrow? Did they say it was going to be an article on Medium? Did they say, to me, that doesn't matter. What matters is those numbers are in the poem. That speaks for itself. My opinion.
Well,
though.
no, but you're trying to protect me a little. I didn't know Mike had completely discussed with some people. Get in our Zooms, guys. They had discussed with some people my error. And I was the first to say there's a lot of things that I erred on, and we went over them tonight, and it was going to be here. Then I go on Thor, and I didn't get Kpro screwed up. She said the wrong thing from like when Justin asked. I got it secretly from Mike in the Zoom the other night when he was supposed to be on the Zoom on something else, and I wanted to blow you up on your own forum, and you haven't admitted this. And it's like, yeah, the video's coming out, and we're going to talk about it tonight.
You know more.
All right. Sorry, Kpro.
And so it just irritated me. Mike didn't even know he was getting bamboozled. And that's what I love about Mike is he didn't even see all these random stupid questions, then going to Thor of Mike admitted it in Zoom, Kpro's a liar. No. I made a mistake and I was coming out to say it here, but also we go on live Mondays and Thursdays. We don't take time. Like the minute that I knew, we could have gone on live every minute that we think something, but we don't. So I was so Mike's trying to be nice right now because I was like, why didn't you tell me that they like ambushed you in the Zoom?
Well, it wasn't an ambush. It wasn't an ambush in the Zoom. But me and you can have a miscommunication. That's acceptable. That's okay.
Not to some people. They're
Well-
like, what? Are Kpro and Mike not close? And it was like, guys, with this much information coming your way, I'm going to remember things different occasionally at
I
times.
know why you thought it was different because I think it was Monday night. You said, well, nothing's come out. It was supposed to be this week. And you're like, Monday night, well, nothing's come out. Then the next day, the article came out.
It was Tuesday night and Wednesday morning. Tuesday night, you said the wrong day, you son of a beep, beep, beep.
I know why you remember it that way because you were thinking 2 days have gone by and you're like, well, nothing came out. And then the next day it came out. So you're thinking next day, he said.
Right. But some people, this is their entire life is to find the one inaccuracy and be able to blow Kpro up. Okay, great. You got your 3 seconds of fame. Awesome.
Joe Man Mike has got a good point. Why do you think the source wanted to share the solution?
We put that.
Yeah, it's in the video, which you guys should watch. But the reason is, and there's the video, if you guys didn't see it, the reason is closure. He wanted to give closure to the community because we don't think the finder is going to release it. The finder in his Medium article said, I'll answer, there'll be more later, but not that, meaning not the solution. And how do you give the clues to not give up the solution? So we don't think the finder ever, just from what the finder said, we don't think they're going to give the solution. So this person was like, you know what? This is the right solution. This is the location. Put it out there so people can have closure. There's a lot of people with a lot of time and money and blood, sweat, and tears invested in this thing. And you can believe it. You cannot believe it, but it's there. So, and that's much like Paul Harvey used to say, that's the rest of the story. And there it is, everybody. Yeah. But it sure is interesting to talk about, isn't it? Love it or hate it. It is fun to get to talk about. I mean, when it was first, when Forrest first sent the email, Kpro said this.
Good for you and your father.
She thought Shiloh retreated it. It's true. Retreated it. She thought Shiloh retrieved it. But since then, she has changed her mind. So will we ever know for sure? There's a finder that wrote an article. You know, you guys figure that out. It's not even figure out. You guys make your own decision. We figured out what we believe is true, what we believe is correct. I just got to thank Justin, Cynthia, and Kpro for going and finding the actual location. I mean, that's huge. To have numbers in a poem, but to actually go find a spot where there's two trees that have blazes and it's by the Continental Divide, and it just all fits. It's in the park where Forrest grew up. No, Paul Harvey. And now you know, oh, you're saying Walter Cronkite. I got you. Shows how old I am. Walter Cronkite and Walter Cronkite, and that's the way it was. Paul Harvey. Now you know the rest of the story. All right, we're getting ready to wrap up, Kpro, unless you want to keep going.
Yeah, no, I want to read that darn chat. I'm just doing something with my.
All right, Kpro says we are not wrapping it up. All right, I'm going to play the interview again because somebody said Forrest almost said coordinate. What? Let's play it one more time. I want to listen in. Here we go. And think when Forrest, he's like, I'm listening to every word, and then he thinks about it. Check it out.
So what recommendations do you give someone? You've said a famous quote about canasta. If you're, don't be overconfident, make sure you complete the solve before you go out.
My quote is, if you don't know where warm waters halt, go home and play canasta.
He said quote. I think maybe somebody thought he said coordinate quote. He says quote, if that's what you're referring to.
Halt, go home. If you don't know where warm waters
My quote.
halt.
The solve before you go out.
My quote is, if you don't know where warm waters halt, go home and play canasta.
It kind of sounds like coordinate, but what he was saying is quote, everybody.
The solve before you go out.
My quote is, if you don't know where warm waters halt, go home and play canasta.
So how exact of a location can you get before you actually physically get out there? What recommendation would you give to searchers?
Ask that question again. I'm listening to each word you say.
What recommendation would you give to searchers on how exact of a location should they have solved the poem before they go out boots on the ground?
I don't want to talk about that.
Okay.
He doesn't want to talk about that. You guys decide why, because he's told
Well,
him.
you want to hear something funny?
You'll never know if you have the right where warm waters halt or anything else.
You
But
want to
when
hear
we say
something
how
funny?
exact of a location can you get just from the poem, he doesn't want to talk about it. Go ahead, Kpro.
He said to me when he was going to give the interview of post find, he was like, you can't ask questions about the solve or the finder. And hey, buddy, can you hold on one second. And I said, okay, because he said, I don't want to ask questions and not answer them like he did in this interview because we were analyzing the questions he wouldn't answer. Anyway, that's my little 2 cents. Okay, let's go back.
Yeah, he said quote, everybody. My quote is, stay home and play canasta.
Okay, there's.
And canasta, by the way, if you guys don't know, the founder, the guy who created Latitude Longitude, that was his favorite game. It's in Wikipedia.
Is it really?
Just joking. No, I'm
Oh.
just joking. I made that up totally on the spot. Sorry, everybody. Now they'll clip that and say Cowlazars lies.
Yeah, good. Maybe you'll get the amount of hate. No, we have too many ladies that are liking you. It would be a good to run a poll to see who is a believer. I bet there's more after today. I don't know. People sure didn't like my PowerPoint presentation.
I think people hate it. And I think they hate it because most people, when they're like latitude, longitude in the poem, that means Forrest lied. There are no 9 clues. There is no where warm waters halt. That's Minotaur Moreno has been going off on that. But there can be both. That's the genius of it.
No, I think more of it is, to me, we need to know everything. We need to know your source information. We need to see the actual emails. We need to see this. We need to see that. They want definitive proof or it's nothing. And I actually can see that line of thinking. I don't agree with it, but Oh, I don't know.
Forrest Fenn Aftermath says, here's one long debate. If it was Yellowstone, then why the lawyers in 2013? What set that off? Now, is it true that after Forrest hid the treasure, he said he talked to some lawyers? Let's get that out of the way first.
Dale and Cynthia both say that they had heard that from Forrest, and I believe it to be the case. But do I know at the factual level that some searchers want? Like, do I have an email? No.
Yeah.
Ha!
So,
See what I did there? See?
and do you remember in the interview, which I didn't clip, but you also asked him about ownership of the land? And
Uh-huh.
what if the ownership changes? And he said, I don't want to go there. And in my opinion, the ownership of a national park does not change. That was not a consideration he had to think about. The legal aspect of somebody placing something and finding it is different. But
Is there an S corp issue? Well, he told Cynthia. The person had to come to me. They had two choices now that we know where. They could turn it in to the ranger and hopefully get it back eventually. Or they could take it to Forrest and they're going to hand it back, where she did the whole he hands it back. Okay, Tony Rusi says, why don't you like wood grain analysis? I do. I just don't like it until I see something definitive that I can see. What is going on?
Must listen good says there cannot be both solves, two sets of clues. That would make Forrest a liar on several occasions. Why? Why, when he's asked a question, can't he be talking about nine little clues and another time he's thinking about latitude, longitude? Or why can't every question he ever answered be related to the 9 literal clues? But there's also this other way to solve it. He just never talked about it. He didn't want to give that out to everybody to say there's really a second way. But I don't understand how it.
So because I can say Common Core wasn't around or taught by when the poem was written. That is true. But because I can, homophones were pretty much taught at the same level. I just went into Common Core and I found out when homophones were taught, which is second grade. I believe even 10, 15 years ago, it's relatively at the same level. Whether it's third grade or first grade, does that matter? I don't think we're picking apart that at that same level just because it doesn't matter. That's my point there. Which auction houses do you think the finder will use, Christy, or is there another auction group better suited? In my opinion, I've had a few people message me on this. They said that they believe there's a couple auction houses that deal with anonymity and potential lawsuits and keeping someone anonymous even through lawsuits. Because the minute this gets posted, let's say it goes to Christie's, I'm thinking, I mean, there's one lawsuit in particular, I mean, there's just going to be boom. I mean, I think I think within a day it's going to happen. So I think there's a couple, but I still think they're going to try to maybe promote or get this in a different way so it doesn't have to go to full auction. I think they're going to try to do it privately, which is what I would do. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So I was gonna say, won't that be an auction to watch if it was public, where you could like watch it streaming or something? But Alan Kay brings up a very good quote. Every word is placed in there strategically, and you can't ignore any of the nouns in that poem. Also, there are a few words in the poem that are not useful in finding the treasure, Phil, but it is risky to discount any of them. The nouns are important. The nouns are the 9 literal clues, but those other words, too, far, to, walk, those are important too. It's both. You can solve it 2 different ways. Why did everybody hate that? Why does everybody hate it? He was a pilot.
Don't be a hater. Don't be a playa hater.
And this is a stretch, but I'm going to say it anyway. I kind of went through the Thrill of the Chase recently. And when he puts his thumb over Philadelphia when he's in the plane, and I think there's some other parts of the Thrill of the Chase where he's covering things. When I looked up a sextant, which is how in the old days they used to determine position and latitude, longitude, they would use their thumb. And that's not a joke. That's true. There would be
I heard sextant, but
I don't know what I'm doing. But on the ship in the old days, and I just thought, could the thumb thing, I don't know. That's totally me, but that is in the book though. Look it up.
Okay, Alan. Good day, sir. Alan K says, as much as I argue, I love that you share what you share. Thank you, Alan K. You're the more reasonable ones. Even though we disagree often, I think the way that you say it just is, it's not zinging and hateful. It's, can you explain this? I love how Mike calls her Kpro. I need to, Johnny Walker, I need to call him Cowlazars more, because this is our like treasure hunting life. Because I do have to say, once we turn that off here, that's where I was like, Mike, did you talk about this at all in the Zooms? He's like, yeah. Like, we don't talk about treasure hunting outside of here. We don't talk about treasure hunting. It's just we
Mr.
have too
Clue
many other things.
shout out to Mr. Clue and his Catan treasure hunt, which may in fact be harder than Forrest Fenn's poem. We're not sure. When we get the solution, we'll find out. I've been to a few big auction houses, and I have complete confidence they can keep the finder anonymous. Oh, I totally agree. The finder can auction that chest. What I was saying is, will that auction be public, or well, how do you conduct a private auction that's not open to the public? I mean,
You have
how
to
do
have
you,
a
how do you
certain
tell
level
it?
of assets, be a certain
They have an
customer.
email list of
There's a
certain
whole
people,
there's
or
a whole
like how would you
thing
do
to it.
that privately? I don't know. I don't never. Yeah, but if it
So
was public, wouldn't it be awesome to watch to see how high it goes, to see the bidding? I mean, that would be awesome. But we'll
I
see.
have a really rambunctious kitty over here. Okay, Tony Rusi, do you know how lucky you were to find the actual spot? Tony, I have to tell you, first day we knew we were in the wrong spot. The second day, we went almost the whole day. When Justin, literally, we were standing 5 feet from it. We were right on the other side of a tree. Huh? What?
Literally.
Literally, we were on the other side of the tree. And I can't believe Justin is the only reason we found it. And it's funny because we're all trying to be supportive of each other, of how valuable you are. I felt like I was the flatlander. I slowed everybody down, and I didn't find the spot. And there was lots of things. And they're like, no, it's great. And I'm like, the only reason we found that damn spot is Justin. Like when he, oh,
Without him there, do you think you and Cynthia would have found it? Did Cynthia have
it's funny.
yes or anything? Like,
No, but Cynthia said, I Cynthia and I discussed that. We had like 10 hours each way, but on the way back, I said, "Do you think cuz I don't." She goes, "I think I would have. It probably would have taken me a year or at least till next spring. There's no way in the first day or two." And I do have to say, for me going, if she would have taken me, which I would have made her, we got separated once. We didn't have to use the beacon. It was really funny. Justin was like, let's put beacons and we'll just do it for everybody. And he like put our names in the programming to know which one was Cynthia, which one was me, and all that. And we didn't have to use them. But there was a time him and Cynthia were just going out, and he's like, I don't think we need the beacons. And I thought, oh, I was the one he was a little worried about. There was so much safety involved. I felt, you know how you go out and if you don't know what you don't know? I felt like I try to be aware. I didn't need to because he was aware of what I might not be aware of.
and,
Anyway, it was
and I
awesome.
just want to say to Justin, Mr. Justin Posey, thank you for being there. Because it was found, I think you were a big part of that. Thank you for being there. But also just like safety issue. There's 3 is better than 2, and a male is better than 2 females. Some people might have a problem with that, but I think it's true. So I'm glad you were there. I'm glad you stayed for the whole, as long as it takes. And I'll just say that me and Kpro aren't perfect and we make mistakes sometimes. So as the community knows, God knows, we're not perfect and make mistakes sometimes.
And I
So
make a lot more than usual. I don't think there was a bet. And here's the funny part. I actually stayed back one of the trips and I just hung with Tucker. And it was probably the coolest experience just hanging. I hung with the dog for the day.
wait, Kpro, you mean the dog wasn't left in the 100-degree car for hours and hours? Didn't somebody say that somewhere? They posted.
Yes, they're like, we're turning in it. And it's like,
They
I
rented.
want to say Tucker lives better than 90% of America. It was just, no, but like, he was so well behaved. He was so awesome. Anyway, I'm not going to go on and on, but it was so awesome to have everybody in their role. Like Cynthia put it perfectly. We weren't all equal, but we were all critical at one part or another. And it was just really fun to have. And there was the time that we were really serious and fixated on and then there was a time we were just fun and funny. And it was great. There was a time, I do have to say, I have not seen Cynthia really fixated. She wanted to do something that was probably not the wisest thing. And I jumped in her truck and sat in it and then messaged Justin. And Justin's like, all of a sudden he was messaging Cynthia. There's some backstories and some bloopers to all of this that we didn't get into. It was just a really good team because when you're with good people, that's what you do. So
And I've said it
it was
before,
awesome.
and I'll say it again. If anybody deserves to know where the location was after the treasure was taken, it's Cynthia, Justin, and Kpro. The 3 of them have so many boots on the ground, so much money invested. Well, no, but so much time and money invested.
Yeah,
in what we do
maybe.
with the YouTube channel. And even though I wasn't there, I feel like I was there in spirit because I got the info before.
Right, but you got the info. You know what? You were critical because we kept asking questions. You went live. We wouldn't have gone live, and I have to apologize to you. I was mad. You were like, "We're going live," and I'm like, "We're not going live. People are going to come after him." And then Cynthia's like, "But I think we need to try to include it." And I get on my little tangents, and I'm like, "I'm so mad at Mike. He doesn't care about me. He."
But again, that's what I mean when I say me and Kpro aren't perfect. We go live. We have incorrect info. Me and her say things while we're live, and we're like, "What? We didn't know that." We give you guys the info, and that's what we do. So it's kind of a journey together, in my opinion. We kind of go through these things together.
Yeah. Okay. So Missouri Dave says, "Do you think the exact location was special to Forrest, or was it Yellowstone?" I think the exact location. I have no way of knowing that. In my opinion only, it was awesome. Yeah. Oh, Travis is here. Travis Bird. Hi. Here's one long debated. If it was Yellowstone, why was you already asked that. Sorry.
And Mike Modine, what's up, Mike? Mike Modine points out that Forrest did not do good in school. Forrest prayed for D's. All of the coordinates in the poem, all the numbers are misspelled. Get it? He's telling us in The Thrill of the Chase, I'm not good at school. So and FOR is not how you spell for. Effort is not how you spell.
Okay, that's a stretch.
It is a stretch, but I just think it's cool.
It's cute. It's cute. It's cute.
I mean,
I like it.
It's just all these, and the sextant. Somebody look it up. That's interesting. I don't know.
Okay, let me ask you a question, Mike.
Expert on sextants, but I did look into it recently.
I like Adelkin's question because it's subjective, and that's what we need to do. Do you feel your source is reliable, David? Oh, sorry. Hold on.
Do I feel the source is reliable? I have no way to know that. To tell you the truth, to be honest, is I have no way to know it really because I don't know the source. I don't, all I have from the source is what they've told what they've told us. You know what I mean? So it's all subjective. It's all their opinion. They're saying, I know this is where it was found, but I don't have proof of that other than we have a crack in the log with the finder's picture and we have a crack on the log where you were at. But that's beside the point. I think they are, but I don't have any proof of that. Sometimes when you talk to people, even if it's over email, you get an idea, you get a feel if they're crazy, if they're obsessed, if they're fanatical. You know what I mean? You just get an idea if maybe they're just trying to figure something out. And me and Kpro get a lot of emails, a lot of emails. So in my opinion, they are trustworthy, but I can't base that or prove that on anything concrete. What do you say, Kpro?
There's going to be a lot of irony with what I say here. Yes. I do.
Oh, you think they're trustworthy?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And that's, really, all you can do is take our opinion, take our word for it. But
I just think with the particular situation, I think with that particular situation.
Right.
And I have really, really judged badly in the past. Bad people I trusted. Bad. I just don't. I might be totally off base and totally crazy. That's fine. But I don't. And that's part of it for me. And one day I hope all this story comes out and I can give all the context to everything. The hardest part about this, there's some people that I really appreciate and usually see as positive, etc., in the community that are being really negative. And I messaged one and said, "Why are you so negative?" They said, "Because we can't see what you're seeing. And it's really frustrating. And I know you can't give up the information we want from you, but you have to know it's frustrating." I knew it'd be frustrating. I didn't know some people would just be like, I've been surprised. Some people that I know as positive people, they're like, "This is total crap." I just have never heard. I didn't even know they could say those kind of things.
Crap. A lot of people took it the wrong way that I said confirmed with 4 exclamation points. If it was 3, I think it would have been a little better. They just didn't like that I said confirmed because it's really not. The only person that can confirm this is Forrest Fenn and the finder.
Did they blow up Toby and Shelly or
Right.
the for or odious soul, or, and I get it, some people said, but you're at a different level. We don't see ourselves at levels. We see ourselves as the average searcher. We see ourselves as, I've had a few boots on the ground and I never thought I'd really fight. So when we put out our opinion, I didn't think it would catch hellfire. I thought it would be, and when somebody puts out, a couple of the people that are real negative, if some random person put out a solve that you didn't think was right, or this story, would you even give it the time of day, or would you go crazy like you have and come in here and say nasty stuff? It's funny because there's somebody that I'm supposed to give a significant gift to that is, I think, banned tonight. And I'm going to have to go back to the person that wanted to give them the gift and say, you've got to work that out yourself. I didn't know people would go as ballistic as they did. But they are. And I don't want to know. It's just surprising to me. That's all. Okay.
There's been questions on, have we ever met the searcher, the source? Do we know who it is? Is it just an anonymous email? I'm not going to go into any of that, but
Nope.
it's up to you, Kpro, if you want to talk about what Cynthia said about Fembury.
No. Okay. What Cynthia said. Okay. Here was the context of what Cynthia said. And believe it or not, this is it. And Cynthia will say this as well, and she's pretty no nonsense. So the one thing that Justin and I and Cynthia said was, when we say anonymous source or anonymous person, that sounds so random. And this person had a lot more detail and information than just some random nobody that was just out of nowhere. So we like to term the person the source. Partner with that, we got information that this person knew kind of the technique, this GPS thing, and they tried to tell many people and never was taken seriously. And the comment that was made, because Cynthia said, yeah, I could see that. The comment that was made was, even Cynthia was presented this in 2019 and blew the person off. That was enough for me to say, and Cynthia goes, do you know how many people at February were telling me stuff? And I don't remember if it was 2018 or 19. I don't remember what it was, but it was enough to say, she was like, yeah, I could totally see it. Does Cynthia even remember that? No. Does Cynthia know who that is? No. Did Cynthia ever recall meeting that person? No. So those two stories were told within the same paragraph or the same 2 minutes on YouTube. That was enough for everyone to say, she knew the person, met the person in 2019. Oh my God, tell us who this is. And there's just not a there. She was trying to clarify and she tried to do it in chat. She couldn't have the chat up. I tried to say some stuff for her. Justin, figure out her phone. She did not have a chat function in YouTube. So then she came on, what she said was wrong. And then she's like, I'm done. I'm just going to do my videos where I don't have to do live feed because everybody picks apart every single word. And I said, oh, just think if you went on YouTube twice a week and then you do Zooms where people try to derail you and then go and blow you up on your own forum when someone says something in the Zooms. And she's like, yeah, I wouldn't do your world at all. And so that's the story, whether you agree with it or not. There you have it. There it is.
Marty Bird says, Kpro, do you know what MEH thinks of this solve?
I do not.
Weighed in?
I don't know.
I don't think he likes it, but I don't remember specifically.
How do you know that?
I thought he was in a chat and basically said, I disagree with this, whatever.
Yeah, I could.
But
I could see that.
Yeah, I don't know for sure what he thinks of it. So especially after your video that you put together and Cynthia's video that she put together, explains it a lot better and explains how there are 9 literal clues, or can be. And I think people might, but also MEH was down in New Mexico, so MEH might be a little biased, as we all are. But Yeah.
And you know what? I disagree with you there. MEH seems to think more about process. So I don't think he would care because of New Mexico. I think he would care on whatever his process was. If he had the same process, like he said, it doesn't matter who is physically closest. It matters to him who, so he could be in New Mexico and still the closest if he was using the same process. Ooh, I'd be really interested to see if he had anywhere near this process.
So you're saying, did you know the source before? Did you get an email before it was found? I'm not going to say any of that, but I will say this. World Series of Fenn weekend, January 29th weekend of next year. Will the finder be there? Will the source be there? I don't know, but the only way you're going to find out is if you show up. So we'll have details. Hopefully we'll have some concrete details on World Series of Fenn, which should be awesome this year because we can all talk about this crazy solve, but we can also just reminisce about the thrill of the chase in general. And, you know, there's a treasure hunt in Vegas going on. The Jingle Bell Rock might be, oh no, Jingle Bell Rock, but Vegas not yet. But anyway, that was a little plug for the World Series of Fenn next year. Yeah.
Yeah, I personally think I know enough people that are investigators at a different level than I am. I can tell you, I think the finder's identity, and I'm really, really sad to say this. You're going to hear a dog in the background because it's a dog and a new kitty. I think it's going to be out, and I'll be so sad if that happens. I think getting information on the solve to everybody is okay. Just like I think some of you saw that I had a really bad moment about Peggy. When Forrest passed, I thought that was kind of fair game for the community. When Peggy passed, I know how it was leaked. They just wanted some peace for a few days before lawsuits and all of that happened. And I think it's really sad that some searchers put, yeah, I don't even want to go there. I just want to say it's like the finder's identity. I don't care the guy's name and information. I did care about the solve. That's why we shared it. I don't think that was the finder. I think that was all of ours. Whether you solved it because of the finder or after or a source or whatever, David, don't do that. Yeah, I got a new little tiny kitty. That'll be, yeah. Okay. Do you think you or Mike have met the finder face to face and not known it? I don't think so. That's just a guess. But it's an educated guess. I have enough information. I don't think so. Do you think the spot is where Forrest Fenn would have really wanted to die there? Yes, Blaze Weiser, and there's a very specific reason. Yeah. CJ, I don't talk about bannings. Bannings are not because I disagree with anybody, but I'm not going to go into particular reasons on anybody or anything. But yeah, I'll just leave it at that. I'm surprised about some people.
Where would people get banned, Kpro?
I rarely ban on Thor. Rarely.
Hintofriches.com?
Hintofriches.com. I did have to do some timeouts. It's funny because people are actually not as much, well, they're attacking me horribly, but I don't care because I'm not reading as much because I'm kind of in the thick of things right now. I'm more phone call to phone calls. But people are defending me one way or another. And when they defend me, that's actually getting personal, which is interesting. So I'm going to, but even your haters trust you. That's why you guys are influencers. Take it or leave it. And you know what? Alan, you stated it so well. I was in Bowling Hills when I came on. You were talking about being influencers. And I think this has made me realize what you're saying. I didn't understand it until now. And it's kind of one of those, like, I don't know if I want to take on that role. Like, I just want to be like, now that I found my guy and my life and my situation that I fit so well in, and we can go out and have these adventures, it's like, I don't want to be Cowlazars and Mike bring breaking news. I want to be like Christy and Mike have a fun adventure with their family, but we can't have both. And so I just need to appreciate and understand both. I didn't understand it until now. So Alan
put it a very apropos way in the chat. He said, I found what I was looking for, peace. And that is why the source came forward. And that is why me and Kpro are putting this out there so that people can have closure. And for the people that don't like latitude, longitude, if that is in fact how the finder found the treasure chest, that's okay. But remember the good times you had. How many people went to Yellowstone National Park because of Forrest Fenn and the thrill of the chase? I never would have went if it wasn't for this chase. And that's what it was about. Forrest accomplished his mission. He got everybody out of the room, off the couch, off the machines, etc., and out in the wilderness. And that's what it was all about. So we can have some peace now until the next one. And I hope somebody else does $1 million treasure hunt someday. Until then, we have a bunch of small ones that are going on. The treasure hunting amusement park is still full. We've just got different rides to ride. That's all. Moisture Eye says, I wanted a more romantic solve. That was a bias of mine. What you thought of Forrest before the solve and after match? I wanted to walk the treasure down the aisle. And that's okay. Yeah, and that's okay. You can feel that way. It's bittersweet for a lot of people that they were in the wrong state, maybe, or that they were like, I thought of Continental Divide as a world, almost said World Series event, as where warm waters halt, and I just missed it. And that's okay.
Well, I have a funny story because Mike Nodine says Kpro celebrity. And here's a funny story. I have a job that I lived in a little tiny town. And when I lived in a little tiny town, I went to Walmart. And when I was at Walmart, somebody came to me with my hair up in a bun, no makeup, nothing. I was in sweats. And they're like, can I take a picture with you for my Instagram? And I looked at them and I went, what? And they're like, and I said no at the time, and I hurt the person's feelings. And I talked to one of my colleagues, and they're like, oh yeah, no, you need to be like all prepared when you go to Walmart. I'm like, I never knew. And that's the moment I just had in the chase.
This wasn't chase related when that happened, right?
No, it was my job.
Work, I got it.
Yeah, for my work. And I was like, I had no idea. So the first time like my daughter had a full meltdown, I was like, oh my God, everybody's going to know that because they like talk about it. This was the first time. And I hate the word celebrity because we're all the same. I understand that others' perceptions are different. Like when I go to an event, I just want to be around people because at the beginning of this chase, I didn't have a lot of people around me, and I feel like I have a lot of friends around me now. And so, again, search friends, like Mike always says, it's search friends, but it's just so different. And so, I mean, and that's what I don't want to focus on the negative. I just want to focus on the positive, which is we got our closure. There was someone, here's the coolest part. That I think everybody knows this person is corresponding with Mike. Why are they corresponding with Mike? Because they think Mike's a good person. I think we all see that Mike's a good person.
All
And
along.
who loves the soundboard, and I'm trying to adjust with that. But then he likes me, and that makes him crazy. I know. And then I like Cynthia, and then we like Jessica. Look at what happens. All goodness. And so I just hope.
I've said it before. I was Switzerland. Take no sides, and then Kpro invaded Switzerland and took over. But that's a good thing, everybody. Everybody knows Kpro.
Not like a regular mom. I'm a cool mom.
Everybody loves Kpro. Love her or hate her, you still gotta love her.
Yeah, I was gonna say no. That some were like, when are you done with Kpro? They need a date. Yeah, you were. Yeah, they waited until you walked away to start saying it. That's funny. So
That was just for you, baby.
That's right.
leave the kitty alone.
And to a lot of those people out there, I just got to say this.
Don't be a player hate.
You guys knew that was coming. All right, enough of the soundboard. So that's it. Do we ever have to do another show on Forrest Fenn Treasure Found again? Well, we will. I mean, the solve is out there from the source, okay? You guys can decide whether you agree with it or not. It is closure for some, and that was the point, I believe. World Series of Fenn, we're going to be talking about it a lot. I think I'm going to have T-shirts made that just have the latitude and the longitude. That's it, right here.
No, all it has to say is 0.2. That's it.
Right,
That's
right.
it.
Back, it says add up. That's right. But just imagine the people who, and somebody in the chat put it, they're like, we've been trying to get coordinates out of the poem forever. We just couldn't make it work. So,
Well, and I think that Josh brings up a great point. It's the ethics of it. It's funny because when I have people say, I think you're wrong, I have no issue with it. When some people say you're perpetuating a scam and you're a liar, I have a huge issue with it because this is what I genuinely believe. Right or wrong, this is what I believe. I might be stupid, but I'm not a liar, is kind of that thing. And I think some people are so passionate in their solves that they think anyone that would think anything differently, they're liars and they're terrible people. No, they might just think something different. And that might be crazy to think, but I think people need to think outside themselves. And I didn't do that this week. And I had my own crisis happening, and I was really self-centered and did something I shouldn't have and was really angry at somebody that I shouldn't have been. And so I do it all the time, but I'm trying to ask you guys not to. So it's such a weird situation to have. And so I know a lot of you have asked about my dad. He's not doing well. I can't go and see him though. So I'm not going to probably travel until I know I can actually see him. And COVID sucks. And if you have a family member that might be passing during COVID, it sucks because it's hard to get in to actually see them. So I am taking day by day, and Mike's here, and that's all. But I thank everybody because I've shared enough. And oh my gosh, we have an animal menagerie happening here. But I just wanted to thank everybody um, for their words and they just know a little bit, so they know enough to say thank you. And I actually found out the day that we found this. It was like the best day, and I went to call my dad, and it was that night that I found out that he had some complications and isn't doing well. So, but he'll do better because tomorrow is going to be better. And somebody asked me about the Forrest Fenn song, and they're having some questions about it, and they want us to do a show because they want the finder to come on, or the not the finder, the person that wrote it, because they have some questions. And it kind of made me so sad that I didn't answer to it. So I'm going to leave that right now because I am going to play that at my father's funeral one day. And I just hope it's not this week. That's all. That's all I have to say about that.
And remember, everybody, we are human. Me and Kpro and everybody else. So even though we're on YouTube, we make mistakes too. I shouldn't have put confirmed. I admit it because it's not confirmed. But again, I thought it was apparent that confirmed meant to us. But no, people.
Yeah. Did you see what JBR said? I'm actually mean. The more rake thing. More rake. Come on. Come on. I'm not that mean. So, yeah.
Ready for another grand adventure. I know I am.
And you know what? Somebody asked me, can you put all this stuff aside? We're ready for a grand adventure. We have the story written. We've got to embed. Mike and I are going to have a marriage and come together and do a joint puzzle. It's a new kitten, the source. I wish I could. Here, let me show you something. Here's my. Do you see Kpro right there? There's a kitten, there's a cat, and there's a dog, and there's another dog just pacing. Oh my God, we got problem. He is one step away from a huge fight or love. The cat is one that just likes to pounce, and so yeah. So anyway, Randy, you missed where we all agreed that you have to give a significant clue for the Beacon Star because you broke loose the Forrest Fenn hunt. I'm sorry.
Randy, you all missed where we figured out what page your decimal degrees are on in the Beacon Star, but I won't say it. I won't say it out loud.
Let's keep tricking him out of clues. That's what we need to do.
Randy's not getting tricked on anything. He knows exactly what he's doing, but it keeps people interested. So thank you for the videos you make, Randy.
They are fun.
You put the book on the shelf because you get so frustrated, but then you come out with something and we pull it back down and talk about it. So, all right. Candy sent some more pictures of the crack. Should we go back to crack gate, everybody? Let me see what we got here.
You know what? The one thing, there's so many great things about Candy, and one of them is her research skills and tenaciousness, spell that 5 times, is awesome. If anybody could compare and figure out if there is a crack if there is something that puts those pictures and the other pictures together, I'll be back, guys. Oh, we got a little kitty fight.
All right, go get them. All right, let me show it. And Chasing Indy on YouTube, everybody. She's going live tomorrow to talk about this solve and about these pictures. So everybody can check that out. I'm not exactly sure what time she's going live.
Okay, sorry.
Check it out. But this is what she just sent. That's it from the finder's picture. And then it looks like a number 5. Does it kind of sort
Wait, is the top one and the bottom one the same? They look identical.
Yeah, I believe this is just blown up. That's all.
Oh, okay. I was going to say they look great.
So, yeah, I mean, you guys make your own decisions, but hey, there it is. So, thanks for sending those, Candy. We appreciate it. You got it, JBR Princess. You missed Randy's. Oh, 3D bronze. You missed Randy's hit. he insinuated that his treasure is watched by a camera in chat, I think. Interesting. I wouldn't be surprised. I know Forrest liked webcams. Wouldn't be surprised if Randy's got a traffic cam or a webcam out there, keeping keeping an eye on his proxy item.
Yeah. You know what? I wish I knew so much more about ciphers because I would just be mano y mano. I would want to take Randy down. I feel like he knows the secrets more than even Forrest. I don't know.
An Outcast Searcher has a couple of times put this quote in the chat. Do you think he had these coordinates memorized? Because Forrest said, I knew all along where I wanted to hide the treasure, so I didn't need a map or any information to write the poem. I knew all along where I wanted to hide the treasure, so I didn't need a map or any information to write the poem. Yeah, I don't know. I can't explain that. That's the honest answer. So if you want to say that rules out the entire latitude, longitude solve, well, then you can think that all you want. Or Forrest could have answered that not referencing the latitude, longitude, because he never wanted to give that out as a hint that there were numbers in the poem that would take you right to it. You know, does that mean he lied? Or does it just mean he was only referencing certain clues? I don't know. Second guess it all day. I don't know is the answer.
Wait, you're not allowed to say that. You have to have an opinion, and when you have an opinion, we're going to pick it apart. Whatever you mean. Good day, sir.
Good day, sir.
Yeah.
Just so everybody else knows, because this has gone so late, we are not doing a Zoom tonight. So there will not be a Zoom tonight. There will be a Zoom Thursday for AGK. I was about to say Wednesday, but AGK goes on, and then Toby and Shelly will be on Amy Seeks' channel. But I don't know how late that's going to be. So we could do a Zoom right after Amy Seeks is over. But if that's really super late, we'll just do it Thursday like we have been. And Thursday, the Great U.S. Treasure Hunt is supposed to be on the show. So $40,000, everybody, at the end of the month. 4 locations in the U.S. We hope to have them on the program, and we get the lowdown on the Great U.S. Treasure Hunt. Only costs $7.77.
777. Right. I think they were like begging you to do it, honey, baby, dog.
Oh, I realize Justin is Gadget George on the Which Searcher Are You t-shirt. That is Justin Posey, Gadget George. He's got all the gadgets, all the equipment.
Oh, I think he might be more than one. I think
Flat Long Larry. Maybe that's a new one. We need.
No, but like I think that's a cipher code person, like a cipher code person.
Codebreaker Charlie, Gadget George.
No, but Codebreaker Charlie. Have you seen Justin's latest? Why the GPS might be off by a little. It was like declination, the world exploded and then was put back together, and there's a lot of technical term. I think he's more than one. There you go. Thanks for the chase.
Thanks for the Chaseopoly, and thank you for the super chat. For those of you who don't know, for those of you who may not know who we are, Forrest Fenn gave us permission to make a board game, and we called that Chaseopoly, the Thrill of the Chase board game. It is based on the most famous board game in the world, because that's what Forrest said he did when he had his gallery. And we still have those for sale. So if anybody wants a Chaseopoly, the Thrill of the Chase board game, wasn't going to bring it up because James just did. $35, and that includes shipping and handling right to your house. It costs $21 to ship, by the way.
Okay, so now that Forrest passed, it's not going to be a big deal. Forrest didn't want to cause drama because I think some people were really concerned. What feedback did he give? Did he give you any feedback? Did you go to his house for this or whatever? So he was like, keep this all on the down low. But now he's passed, so it's not a huge issue. He was a big part of including the front of the board, let alone the how the individual spaces, the front of the box, how that looked. He gave a custom doodle that is on Boardwalk. A lot of people didn't know that. There's a lot of things about that board game. It was
just for the board game. That's correct.
Yeah, there was a lot of things.
Twice about Chaseopoly?
Huh?
We went to his house twice about Chaseopoly to show him what we had, to do things.
You went to his house twice?
Yeah. Hey, it's true. I mean, I don't think.
No, but I met you. I probably went to his house.
I met for Chaseopoly. Yeah, you've been there many times.
Oh, for Chase. Well, the Chaseopoly discussions started before I even met you.
Right.
I
yeah. So out of the Hilton, where you told me about the idea. Remember? So let's just tell people want the history as the chase turns. Let's tell them the history. So it was
Stop to ask the chase turns. It sounds so bad.
soap opera, but it's a good soap opera. There's twists, there's turns, you know. But anyway, after the Jamie Jordan raffle that night, before it was either that night or the next night. It might have been that night before we went to play poker. The very first World Series of Fenn was at the restaurant at the Hilton. Boomer Girl won the $100 bill signed by Forrest Fenn. But Cowlazars, it's illegal to deface U.S. legal tender. Forrest Fenn didn't care about certain rules, guys. Kind of like going off the trail on Yellowstone. I don't think he cared. He's a maverick. But anyway, I digress. In the parking lot of the Hilton, you said, I got to tell you something, but you can't tell anybody. And I said, okay. And you said, I got an idea for a board game based on the Thrill of the Chase. And I said, what? That's an awesome idea. And you had the little, you laid out.
I said, come to my car, Cowlazars.
Right. But then I kind of ruined it because I was like, Monopoly. I go, wouldn't a game, better game be Clue? Clue, which searcher in which of the states, in which area, with what device, like a GPS or a shovel.
It was a great idea.
I thought Clue would fit. When we designed it with the Clue, I have it. I can even show you guys. We had a board. And it had the searchers. Which searcher are you? That was going to be part of that.
Yeah.
The area of where you found the treasure at. So it was Clue, except nobody was getting murdered with who done it with the object with the room. It was what searcher found the treasure and what location with what device. But when we went to Forrest's house, Forrest was like, I've never heard of Clue.
Is it popular?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
He didn't get he said, nah, it's not happening. If you're doing it, it's going to be Monopoly. And it was like, yes, sir. So we went and changed it all. And then we have the final product. And thank you for everybody.
It took like a year. Yeah.
It took a long time. There was a lot of hoops to jump through to get that to work. But again, what have I said? Me and Kpro make things happen. So yeah, Clue would have been great, right, Dennis? But that's okay. Forrest always says he played Monopoly as a kid, and Monopoly is the most popular game, in my opinion. And that's what we went with. And Chaseopoly, the Thrill Chase board game, is the result. And I'm just happy that, so for those of you who don't know, the board is shaped like a Monopoly board, but it's all different. We legally changed it, so we didn't have any copyright issues. But each side of the board is a state. And Boardwalk has got Forrest's custom doodle of the stick figure with the treasure chest, and Wyoming, of course. And he never told us to do this.
He never told us.
We have Yellowstone National Park in Wyoming on the most expensive side, which is right before. Instead of go, we have where Warm Waters halt. I mean, it's a great idea. Yeah.
Well, and on one of the cards, I think the rent and everything is exactly the coordinates. Oh, just kidding. Sorry.
But you know, the Chase and community cards, we have caught making marbles in class, pay $20. It's all related, customized to the Thrill of the Chase book and Forrest Fenn's Treasure Hunt.
Well, I think the funniest part of us, I will just get into because a couple of people did about Cowlazars should leave Kpro. We argue about stuff in the Chase. Like there was a couple things on Monopoly and Chaseopoly. I was like, Mike, if Forrest does one more revision, I'm just in. He's like, let me take care of it. He's like the calm person.
And I know somebody's going to ask. Forrest Fenn made zero money off of that game. All
right.
He was get it out there so the younger generation would know about the Thrill of the Chase.
Well, and he even went so far, we actually wanted to put his likeness on the cover box, but there were some issues with the coins that he was like, I don't want to get into drama again. He's like, let's just stay away from drama. So he went to doodles. He was very mindful of how he could stay out of it, where he could, but remember when we showed him at Douglas Preston's place and he was like, I have a board game after my life. And it was like, it was so cool. Yeah.
Instead of go to jail, it's go home and play canasta. I mean, we did it all the right way, right? That's good stuff.
Yeah, one of the chance cards, which were actually hints and clues rather than community chess and chance. It was like, you found a searcher coin, collect $50. Right. Like we did some fun things that, it was fun. It was fun how
people took it the wrong way and thought it was the most horrible thing in the world, but that's okay. That's okay. You guys can have your opinion. That's okay. But it is still there. We made a lot of them, and we still have some. So if anybody does want to buy one, just email me at Chaseopoly. Somebody bought one Friday. I go to the post office today to mail it. Guess what, everybody? Today is Columbus Day. The post office is closed. So to that person who bought it, thank you. got to go to the post office.
Well, somebody did post on Thor the other day, is Forrest okay with monetizing the chase? And it was interesting because this goes back to the days of the coins. Mike initially ordered some, but they got in demand so quickly. And Forrest is like, no, make him a collectible. He didn't mind making money. He wanted to make the collectible, that whole collectible piece. Yeah. So anyway, there you have it.
Is something. The way this whole thing has played out over the years is something, everybody. And I know everybody agreed with all the decisions, but hey, all I can say is I didn't do anything without asking Forrest first and getting his permission. So,
well, and I do have to say, I took a coin out to the final spot, and I know we were in the general area, and I dropped it. There's a coin out there. Go find it, you guys.
Accidentally, or is there? You also, hey, when are we going to show the video of you throwing the coin in the water?
I don't know. Not tonight.
I have it. Can I show
Not tonight. No.
Come on, all right.
There's a whole thing where I was crying and I was like, Forrest, this is for you. You changed my life. And I want to make sure I'm okay with everything that I said there, especially with everything that's happening right now. Like,
no, you didn't say anything that would be inappropriate, but okay, that's fine. But where did you
no,
throw it
like appropriate to my feelings.
Oh, I see. Where did you throw it at? Where was it?
Ojo Caliente.
Oh, it was okay.
Well, it's on the other side of the bridge.
Like, oh, it's right there. You can actually see it. And someday we hope that an 10 or 11-year-old boy will find that coin, just like Forrest Fenn found his.
Oh, and we have one of our search buddies that are up there right now.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, and that was the question. They said, "Where are the coins?" And I said, Kpro. So yeah, that's right.
You threw Forrest in the water. He's probably cold now. Yeah, exactly. So no, I know he liked the coins. I know he hated the drama, and I know there was times that he would say, like, I'm gonna say this, but let's just kind of keep this just to kind of quash stuff. So he was great. He was great.
I used to get so many emails from people that would just complain about me and Kpro.
Oh, Justin said I left something there too, but it wasn't a coin.
Wow. Now see, now I want to go back. All right.
It's gonna be awesome.
Now he didn't say where, people. He said something there. We don't know where.
Yeah, you know what, it's funny because you go into the first place. I don't know the technical terms. There's Christmas trees in the first one and then there's lodgepole pines in the second one. I don't know why he picked the lodgepole pine one over the Christmas tree one. That's what I wonder.
And some people have guessed in the chat tonight that maybe Forrest planted that Christmas tree, because you're saying in that area, it's the only Christmas tree.
It's probably, and it's a baby tree. It's probably this big, and I didn't look at rings or whatever. It was, however, everything else was big. It seemed smaller. I think we all thought, and it was right between the two. There's a backstory. There's a backstory, and Finder put the backstory out.
Think of the last page of the Thrill of the Chase. The guy with the axe and all the trees are cut down, right? So Forrest planting a tree would make sense. I think he's worried about Yellowstone and
He always said plant a tree. That's what we did for his birthday.
The environment. So it would be really cool if he planted that. I mean, there's no way to know. I don't know how old that tree is, if anybody can tell, but yeah. Actually,
you guys are inappropriate. Okay. They're saying what they think. Justin left. No.
Now I get it. Yeah, that's pretty funny, actually.
Actually, I had this tells you what a flatlander I am. I'm like, if you're not supposed to dig, and like, what if you have to go to the restroom? Like, I use the campground, but what if you have to go to the like, not number one, where it's not a big deal, but like number two, and poor things, they had to actually like explain things to an adult, like, oh, this is the regulations and the rules, which I thought was very cute. Very cute. Thank you guys for being so patient with me when I was a flatlander in the wilderness. Oh, I saw bear poop. I saw a bunch of poop on the ground. Not a big deal, because they're like, oh, that can't be bear poop because of blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay. And Justin's like, look for berries. And I didn't understand what that meant. I now know, because Cynthia's like, look, here's one. And she's like, that's bear poop. That freaked me out. I told her, if you see a bear, can you just turn to me and go, hey, I think it's time to go, Christy? Not like, oh, bear. Did you see the guy with the mountain lion? coming after
I
him?
did not see that video. I heard you watching it, but I didn't.
Oh my God, you have to watch it. You have to watch it. He was like barking and screaming, but also cursing. And he's like, no, you're not going to effing take me down. Bark, bah, bah. I mean, he was freaked and the thing was coming after him and then ran off. It was crazy.
Oh, that's cool. All right. Well, we're coming up on 3 hours, everybody. We still got a show to do Thursday, don't we? Great U.S. Treasure Hunt. I hope they're going to be on Thursday and we will get the details because the Treasure Hunt amusement. I was just muted for that, wasn't I? We're going on 3 hours, everybody. So,
No, we heard you.
oh, okay. Yeah. So thank you everybody for tuning in. A big thank you to Kpro for making that awesome PowerPoint slide. Took her days and days. He was all paranoid. Is it good enough? Yes.
Oh my God, did you see the chat? They all hated it. They said it was pathetic and terrible. They did.
And yeah, if you ever go and look at the spot, shoot me an email. Let me know. And I hope to make it there someday. So yeah, thanks for tuning in. We appreciate it. We got 75 likes and only 49 thumbs down. So thank you.
Oh, just wait till tomorrow.
I like how when that video was premiering, the countdown, somebody said, how does it have 5 thumbs down before it even started? Well, that's how it goes with some people. So yeah, I'm Cowlazars. That's Kpro. We go live every Monday and Thursdays, but you guys should subscribe because sometimes we go live with breaking news. Sorry. And again, if there is any breaking news for the Forrest Fenn Treasure Found, like if the Finder comes out with another article or anything related, or if we get more information from the source, you never know. It could happen. We will go live and we will break it because.
And if it's the Finder, we're going to put potentially, in our opinion, perhaps, possibly the Finder, because we can't say Finder confirmed because that makes some people lose their minds.
And I'll just say this, the Finder wanted to be anonymous. Maybe there's a legal issue. Maybe there isn't. But me and Kpro, this YouTube channel is a way for the Finder could confirm if latitude, longitude was correct, if that location in Yellowstone was correct. Yeah, that's
no, but here's a bigger thing for me.
Through us, if you wanted to.
Here's the bigger thing for me. I believe that the Finder wants to sell the story. We have a group that we came into contact with just recently that is wanting to get a series, and they are well underway, and they're gonna, I think, do it quickly. If you're wanting to turn and burn that story, if that's your intent, I think this could be your group, and I think they're going to do it in a thoughtful way for seeing all sides of the chase, but not hating Forrest or his family. And I think there's a fine line. They understand all pieces of it. I've been approached, I think this is the 3rd or 4th time for either a reality or TV series, let alone the hundreds of news reporters. This group gets all vantage points. They want to tell all the sides, but they don't want to exploit any side. So anyway, I think, and again, I personally believe there's some people that I think two can keep a secret. I think there's a lot of people that have information they shouldn't between the Finder article. They've surmised some things. I think it is a matter of time and information is going to come out. And we don't put information on the Finder or sources out. I don't think others are as ethical as we are. Be careful. Just stay anonymous if you can, and I think that's going to be hard. Some people have figured out some stuff, and if you want to message me, the one thing that we have done, Mike and I have done, is we have pulled back on a couple of the facts that we know on the Finder to ensure if the Finder reaches out to us, we are able to identify the Finder as the actual Finder. Kind of like we had 45 different people say that they had the treasure chest. We'll know if you're the Finder by a few very simple questions.
A couple things we have not released, right? Is that what you just said?
Right. And so with that, if you want to know, we want to protect you as much as the piece that I wanted out was closure on the solve, not your particular situation, family, your name, your identity, that sort of thing. So I worry about you. So, and as much as I give you a hard time about your release and the situation and taking so long, I am worried about you. So,
All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. We're going to do it
Yeah.
again Thursday.
well, hi. Want to come see me?
Yeah, that's where we believe the location of Forrest Fenn's treasure was, everybody.
It's little kitty.
You all make your own decision. Thanks for tuning in. Thank you to Kpro for putting the PowerPoint together. Thanks to Cynthia, Justin, and Kpro for finding the location. And there it is. All right, we're going to take it out with the song you guys all know and love.
Kpro cow, pow wow. Kpro cow, pow wow wow. It's a Kpro cow, pow wow wow. They wanna find the treasure, they wanna find it now. They are Kpro and they are cow. They're going over it and over it and over it again. This treasure hunt created by Forrest Fenn. Sing it!
Precisely.
Kpro cow, pow wow. Kpro cow, pow wow wow. It's the Kpro cow, pow wow. Marion and Indy are what they're like, although their real names are Christy and Mike. Can they pin down the treasure? They just might. Tune in to find out Monday nights. Kpro cow, pow wow. Kpro cow, pow wow wow. It's the Kpro cow, pow wow.
All right, everybody. We're pretty proud of the game. Thanks for tuning in.